the prep because you're trying to, 3.5 hours, all these different topics. It's like,
Yep.
It is Paul W, right?
The Paul W. Smith Show, News Talk 760, WJR. From the great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR, with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
good morning. It is Monday, November 16th, 2020, and we are now facing new shutdowns as COVID rates have the Department of Health and Human Services shutting down schools, restaurants, casinos, and more. High winds have trees ripped from the ground and thousands without power this morning. Tens of thousands of Trump supporters marched on Washington in support of Donald Trump's efforts to fight the results of the election. Dustin Johnson has won the Masters, and the Lions won on a last-second 59-yard field goal over the Washington football team. It was quite a weekend. The round table is here with me. Dick Hafner, good morning. Are you with us, Dick?
Good morning, Kevin.
How are you, Dick?
I couldn't be better. I am just peachy, 100%.
That's right, Dick. Start us off.
Dave Rieger is in for Ed Thomas. Dave, how are you?
I'm good, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing well. And Dana Clark is with us. Dana?
How you doing?
I'm doing
good. The Kingpin
good.
Is back. Kingpin in the house.
Yeah, on a Monday, early morning Monday. Dana, you sound good to me. I'm getting a little echo on Dick and Dave.
Yes, I do. I have an echo in my ear, too. Let's try that.
I can hear you good. So, Dave, watching those Lions as that lead dwindled away, what were you thinking?
I was thinking the same old story, but they pulled out at the end. The Lions have gotten out to big leads all this year, and they have given up some of the leads and ended up losing a lot of double-digit leads. But yesterday, Matt Prater saves the day. I think we have to give him that.
By this much.
Yeah. We were watching it, and just like you always watch the Lions, you just sort of go, uh-oh, what's going to happen here? And the touchdown and a touchdown and a touchdown, and they're all tied up. But it did look like Matt Stafford and Matt Prater didn't seem too worried with very little time on the clock. They seemed like they were ready if able. They got a little help from a penalty call, a roughing the passer that kept them alive, and all of a sudden there they were with very, very little time on the clock, and Matt Prater looking at a 59-yarder, which, he's as good as it gets from long distance, but he's had a little, it's hard to say having an off year, but an off year for him. He's still as good as it gets back there deep, and he was able to deliver, and the Lions won. And I always really like the highlight of our week, because if you're a football fan, Michigan State and Michigan was just tough to watch on Saturday. It was really brutal. But
what happened to Michigan, Dave?
Man, I don't know what I don't know what's going on with Michigan. They're just they're, as you like to say, they're on the struggle bus.
Oh, they're under the struggle bus. They're
having some problems. Michigan State, you kind of got to give a pass to. New coach did not have a lot of time for practice, obviously with COVID going on. So you got to give him a little bit. You got to give Coach Tucker a pass. But I don't know what's going on with Harbaugh and the quarterback situation and the defense. Just getting shredded. So Wisconsin, that was their first game in like 3 weeks.
Don Brown's defense is not holding up. No. They cannot cover deep man to man, and the zone isn't much better. It's really they got a lot to talk about up in Ann Arbor. Yeah. It's tough. We are going to take a quick break here on the Paul W. Smith Show. We'll be back with much more. Right now, we're going to check weather and traffic with Dana Clark.
Still pretty windy out there. Van Dyke is shut down both directions, northbound and southbound at Armstrong Road. Fallen power cables. There will be some areas with traffic lights that are out, so use caution as you travel around. On Van Dyke southbound at 8 Mile, construction has a right lane closed. That's scheduled until 3 p.m. today. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Time for Rush, Kevin.
All right, we're having a little trouble back there. Let's check in this morning with Rush Limbaugh.
Kevin, can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't hear anything else. Can you hear them?
I hear the station.
Yeah, I'm completely in
hear
the dark.
anything?
I can't hear anything. So you can hear the station?
Yes,
Yeah, I
they're
got
in
nothing.
commercial.
Well, you can, if you want to cue me or something, you can cue me, but I don't have any idea. I don't
Oh, it must be Monday. Yeah, I think we usually talk over this part anyway, so
Well, yeah, we can
we
explain
might as
to
well
our
talk.
friends.
What happened to
Let's tell,
Kingpin?
let's tell our friends on Facebook what is going on.
Yeah, they said play charades or
Nothing worse than dead air time. I didn't.
well, Rush just ended, so it wasn't a long time. But yeah, I don't know where
Yeah,
Kingpin went
yeah. So he's probably trying to fix the problem.
trying
But
to fix, and
I
then
never.
Dick, I don't know what happened to
Yeah, I
him.
couldn't hear.
Anyway,
I couldn't hear weather or anything. I can't hear
yeah,
anything.
so we should be
I would
good.
have just been guessing when to talk.
Which you would have did fine,
Yeah.
So the shutdowns we knew would be coming, so we're not really surprised about that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's hopefully they gave some people some notice. I mean, you think about the schools. I mean,
Right.
they said Wednesday, like, which I believe is midnight Tuesday. That's not a lot of time to flip the switch and go 100% from home. Maybe they're ready, maybe they aren't. But same with restaurants and whatnot. I mean, they order all that food, and now you're into like the holiday week. If you're one of those restaurants that was planning on Thanksgiving, you've ordered all your food. It's tough.
Yeah, there's no right. I don't know. Who knows what the right answer, I guess, is to try to save lives. So that it comes down to that. So
Yeah, I don't look so my new thing is the everybody's talks about the numbers and they're like, well, there are more tests. It'll just go by deaths. I mean, the death numbers are up. The death numbers are as high as they've been. Deaths per day are up there again. Hospitals filling up are up there again. So something, you can't get too upset about your, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. But I can tell you, I don't know. There's no stimulus that's been passed. There's no money coming right now. And,
right, people are suffering.
well, and people, I mean, businesses were just hanging on. I mean, they're just not. They're going to be gone. And again, it comes down to save lives. But it's like you can have a tsunami that takes out a entire town of businesses as well. But It's not
Right. And there probably won't be a stimulus until at least maybe the new year. I don't know.
They're gonna have to get a president first, and then a Senate, and then they got
All right. There's a
right.
lot to be done.
I don't know if anyone's been watching Washington, but they haven't really, clarified everything
A
yet.
lot to be done
That
here.
runoff, they got that runoff in the Senate. It's
Right.
January 5th, so they're not I don't think they're likely to pass anything before then, unless they. I mean, they can. They don't need the new Senate to do it, but they didn't get it done with the old Senate.
Right. What a mess. So did you watch all of the Masters?
So I was laughing. I watched a lot of the first couple days. I really kind of did. After the show, because we were working, I'd turn it on and I'd have it on, and so I was really paying attention, having a lot of fun with it. And then the last day, I started working on today's show a little bit in the morning. I thought the Masters came on at like 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, like it usually does.
10.
But because it's fall, it was on at 10. So I
Yeah.
was listening, but I wasn't disappointed because I had like the Golf Channel on or something in the background. So I listened to like Tiger Woods win the Tiger Slam when he won four majors in a row, and but then I popped out, and all of a sudden those guys were on the seventh hole in the other room. I'm like,
You're like,
"Hey, what happened? What happened?" But didn't really miss much. It was kind of Dustin Johnson.
Yeah, it was he ran away with it, huh? Those
Yeah.
shots those guys hit, I don't know how they do it. It's just amazing
Yeah.
how they put it right plop right there. It's like, wow. That's something.
So I don't know. It looks like we went through the next block, huh?
I still hear commercials.
I think they're gonna just play commercials till they
Still
figure
hear
out.
commercials, but I don't know if I'm hearing the correct feed or not.
Oh, I'm just looking at the clock. It looks like we're moving along. But yeah, and then the winds. Did you have any trees
A lot
down?
of power outages. Fortunately, we have power. My mom's power went out, so she came over. But yeah, how about your area? Obviously, you have power.
It was windy. We lost. I mean, we lost power for 20 seconds, and then it popped back on. But my son sent me a video of a huge, massive tree in his front yard fell. Luckily, it fell away from the house, and it fell and landed in some trees. So they were able to like move cars off the street. Everybody was able to move cars before it fell all the way down. But he's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, I don't know, call like the fire department or DTE. Like, did it hit any wires? Like, I don't really know who to call.
Right.
Because the city's closed. It's Sunday, the city's closed. Fire department, I don't even think answered.
Yeah, I think it's
So
DTE, right? And
I think he
they
tried
were
DTE. They were busy.
busy,
I
not
think he finally
answering.
called police and
Okay.
explained the situation. They said, "Yeah, you're fine. That's you take call a tree service in the morning or something." But,
Still in commercials right now.
they must
I
have
think
some.
we'd be back, wouldn't we, by now?
Anytime, anywhere.
There's some stuff.
We're
There's
here
some.
for it all
There's some
and
sound.
always will be. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Confidence comes with every card. To learn more, visit hereforitall.com.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again, substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Good morning. It is 5:53. You're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show on Monday, November the 16th. The roundtable is here. Dick Hafner, Dave Rieger, and Dana Clark. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. Just talking through this Michigan Department of Health and Human Service restrictions. They go into effect Wednesday, and which is basically midnight tomorrow. New rules expected to remain in effect at least till December 8th. And there's quite a few of them here. Dine-in services at bars and restaurants prohibited. Retail store capacity capped at 30%. In-person work is only allowed when doing that work remedy is not possible. So if people were working at the office, they have to stop if they can. Theaters, stadiums, arcades, bowling areas, ice skating rinks, water parks, everything must close. Group fitness classes are prohibited. Indoor gatherings are limited to 10 people, and only 2 households are permitted to gather. Outdoor gatherings are limited to 25 people. Funerals are limited to 25 people. And this one, high schools, colleges, and universities must move to distance learning. School sports suspended. I have some nieces that are looking forward to they're 2 games away from a state championship, and they're put on hold. Let's can we grab a quick cut from the governor, and let's hear from the governor on why we had to make these decisions.
Today, the Department of Health and Human Services is issuing an epidemic order to help us slow the spread of COVID-19 and save lives. The order takes effect on Wednesday at 12:01 a.m. and will be in effect for 3 weeks, and we will continuously monitor the data throughout to determine next steps. Public health experts are warning Americans everywhere to limit our indoor gatherings so that we can save lives. This new epidemic order is geared towards stopping the spread by limiting indoor gatherings. These steps are what the public health experts say we must take to avoid overwhelming hospitals and death counts like we saw in the spring.
Wow, yeah. So the hospitals are filling up. I think I heard in the press conference nearing 80%, and the death rates are near or as high as they've ever been. Obviously, COVID is in its second wave, and a lot of inconveniences. But I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel this time around. The first time, after the first time was over, I said, "Boy, I hope we don't ever have to shut down again." But I don't know. The number of deaths, and people say, look, it's still a very small percentage of people die, but the hospitals are nearing there. It seems responsible to start to back it down. Dana, you've always been on the safety first side. How did you take the news of the shutdowns?
I thought it was expected. As we mentioned before, I guess she came out a few days prior just to give the warning, but at that point, I think they knew it was going to happen. So could have did it then. I guess she gave us a couple of days to get our mind together. But we have to. It's not a wave, it's a tsunami that's happening. And I'm not surprised that it shut down what did. I'm surprised like hair salons are still able to be open with appointment. So, I mean, we know what to do. We got this. It's not that bad. I mean, it's bad. I feel sorry for businesses, obviously, restaurants, theaters, they open for about 2 weeks and they're shut down again. So it's a sad time, but I always err on the side of lives. So.
All right, we'll be back with much more of the Paul W. Smith Show after we take a quick break, check weather and traffic with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
Okay, so fallen power cables. This is in Lapeer along Van Dyke, both directions, northbound and southbound at Armstrong Road. I'm sure there are many other areas that have cables down. Please avoid those areas, and the lights are going to be out at some traffic stops. So keep that in mind. Treat those areas as four-way stops. In Warren, Van Dyke southbound at 8 Mile, construction has that right lane closed until 3 p.m. today. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Are we done with the storms? We are still seeing some windy conditions, cloudy skies early, then partial clearing. Cooler today, a high of 43 tonight. Cloudy skies and partly cloudy after midnight. Could see a shower or wet snow. I said the S word. Overnight low 32 for Tuesday. Partly cloudy skies in the morning. And then we'll see some peaks of sunshine later, a high of 37. Cloudy skies, 37 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in 2 minutes. Okay, so we're in commercial, Kevin, now.
Okay, we're getting it together.
We go.
We are.
Yeah, we figured it out. We had to.
What's happening in there, Kingpin?
We had to reset the computer.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. And is Dick part of the? Does he have his echo gone and whatnot? Is his audio okay?
I think so.
I just haven't really asked him any questions because I don't know.
right. I don't know if he can hear.
But
Well, it's time for his news now. So
do his news now. We'll see. For the rest of the roundtable, we'll see. Hopefully, it'll go smooth. We were having some issues yesterday with it, so
yeah.
we were
Well, that's why we start at 5:30 so we can be ready by 6.
Right.
Oh, by 9 o'clock we've got
That's
this
what we
thing
call-
down.
You guys are the guinea pigs.
That's
for,
what we call our walkthrough, the 5:30 to 6
That's
hours,
right.
kind of our
Guinea pigs
walkthrough or
tested,
warm up.
Right.
Walk through.
Or as our Facebook fans would say, the best part of the show where we just tried to get it together, try to figure it out.
Right. They
Dead
get
air,
a little behind the scenes of what goes on.
Yeah.
A little too much behind the scenes.
On restoring the power, Governor Whitmer.
Well, good morning, everybody out there.
They are targeted restrictions. There's a ban on in-person.
How many outages? And
I didn't-
probably still
I didn't
thousands.
hear what he
Yeah, I
said,
didn't
but
hear
thousands. It was,
Yeah. Being on lockdown and then no power, that's something.
Oh, this winter.
Hopefully
this
they'll
year,
get it back
this
all right.
2020.
This 2020's got to go.
I need
Goodbye.
lockdown in. I think I need lockdown in southern Florida.
Yeah.
When we had the governor on last week, and I don't think at that point she really knew for sure we were going this way, but I think she was teeing it up a little bit, but thinking that, unless these numbers turn around, and they just haven't.
I like how she let the health director announce what was closed.
Well, she had to. She doesn't have the power anymore. The
Yeah.
Supreme Court said she can't
Oh,
pull
okay.
the trigger on executive orders anymore. So
Okay, that's what happened with that. Like, that was a good move.
yeah. So the
They'll be
state,
mad at him and not at her.
did you happen to see the press conference? They asked a question and she said, "I'll let the director of the Health and Human Services answer that," and it was like, no means no. Like, it was like, could fans go to sporting events or something, like
Right.
limited fans or something? It's like, no.
No means no. What part of N-O? The N or the O? Don't you understand?
Right.
Oh, goodness.
No, Patrick, it was not Nick Roddy's fault yesterday that had issues with the StreamYard. He was at Ford Field, so no.
Well, hey, the Lions won.
Yes.
So, you got to give and take a little bit.
Lions have a good chance maybe to get to 500 after next week
Oh,
playing
really? Who do they play next week?
Carolina, a bad Carolina Panthers team.
Well, bad teams have beat us before.
Yeah, we don't. It's no indication really who we're playing. It's whether we're playing or not. All 4 quarters.
True.
So does that count? That counts for another Stafford come from behind win or no? Or
Does it?
They were.
I mean, they were tied, I guess.
They were tied. Yeah, they were
So-
never behind.
Doesn't he have some crazy record for last minute wins?
He does have a lot of comebacks, a lot of comeback wins in his career. Yeah, he does. My favorite part of it was that Prater said that he hit the kick fat.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
It means he caught it kind of heavy. It was if you watch
Wasn't his best kick.
If you watch the kick, it kind of was like
Sorta
a line drive
Okay.
instead of kind of up in the air. Yeah,
I didn't think it was good at first. I really did.
Yeah,
I
it
thought-
looked kind of
I thought it was
suspicious.
going to be a little short and a little wide, and then it just sort of kept going and going and going.
Yeah.
He was happy. He had a good evening.
he did.
Oh.
He had kicked a 53-yarder too, so he made some good kicks. And he'd been struggling a little bit. So.
He took a lot. He took a lot of weight off in the off season, and sometimes that
Oh,
makes a
did he?
difference. Yeah, I mean,
That's
When
what
you say a lot,
I mean, sometimes
like
it can help and sometimes it can hurt. I guess if you're bulking up or building up. He just trimmed down quite a bit.
Yeah.
we can thank Chase Young from Ohio State for that win.
Yeah.
So send Ohio State a little gift. They decided to tack on 15 yards on the second to last play before the field goal kick. That got
Yeah.
him 50. So because they did all that. That last drive was 16 seconds on the clock.
Mm.
It should have. It should have gone to overtime. So
Right.
It's pretty impressive. And that was the first
It's pretty
win.
impressive.
That was
Lions
the-
fans,
that was the
you
first-
poor souls.
That was the first
Season's a disaster.
That was the first Lions
We're all-
home win in over a year, Kevin.
I know. We're all happy, like, oh my
Right,
gosh,
like
this is
we really
great.
did
They got their first win at home. Isn't it their first win in like 10 games or something?
In over a year. It's like
Over a
like
year.
300 and some days or something.
They used to, it wasn't that long ago. They never lost at home. They'd lose on the road, but they never lost at home.
Well, remember they have the extra playoff spot this year, and the potential for even more playoff spots if any of the teams miss a game due to COVID. So
why not? Let's just have the Lions win the Super Bowl in 2020, the year with all
That will
kinds of
top the year off, right?
asterisks and everything else.
ultimate that would be the ultimate SOL.
Sure
It'd be,
would.
Lions win the Super Bowl after
Nothing is more important.
It'd be 2021, of
higher
course.
AJ
Wants to help by covering free flu shots. Call your doctor, pharmacy, or local health department today. McLaren Health Plan, the right plan for right now.
From the great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
Good morning. It is Monday, November the 16th, 2020. We are now facing new shutdowns as COVID rates have the Department of Health and Human Services shutting down schools, restaurants, casinos, and more for 3 weeks, at least 3 weeks for now. High winds and trees ripped from the ground and thousands without power this morning. That's a tough way to wake up with the power off. The Lions won on a last-second 59-yard field goal, which was very exciting for Lions fans everywhere. Thank you for stopping by WJR Radio 760, where Detroit comes to talk. We also are live on Facebook this morning. The team is here. How is everybody? Dave Rieger, good morning.
Good morning. Doing well.
Dana Clark, how are you?
Happy Monday.
Happy
Doing
Monday
great.
to you. And Dick Hafner, how are you?
100%, Kevin. 100%.
All right. At 5:30, you were 100, 100, 100, 100%.
Right.
Now you're booming 100%. Gosh, boy, what a weekend. And, you almost forget on Saturday, tens of thousands of Trump supporters marched on Washington in support of Trump's efforts to fight the election results. He has been busy on Twitter saying the fight is nowhere near over. In fact, he said that the lawsuits that have been filed so far are by a bunch of various people that don't even hit on his main point. He says his big lawsuit testing the constitutionality of the election is yet to be filed and coming. A big crowd there in Washington. I know they called it the Million Mega March. It wasn't that. It was, I think, tens of thousands of people, they said. But it was a big crowd of people gathered together. And I guess as peaceful during the day, as night fell, there was clashes and some fighting and some fires. And that's unfortunate to see. But we're just not there yet. As you think about this, Dick Hafner, a lot of the legal challenges, have not gotten very far, and a lot of people have kind of moved on. But the election isn't yet over, technically, is it?
No, it's not over just because we in the media say it is, or any politicians say it is. It's not over until the votes are certified by the individual states, and that has not happened yet. So that is the actual end of the election process. Aside from that, whatever else President Trump and his legal team have in mind potentially can derail things, because it's not over until the judges or the justices weigh in on whatever lawsuits they're going to be. But as you just pointed out, so far they've gone nowhere.
Yeah, typically it's over when the electors go to Washington and they place their electoral votes. This time around, it may not even be quite over till the courts sort through all that. The swearing in is supposed to be on January 20th. Dana, as you watch it unfold, does it bother you, or are you kind of over the initial reaction and you just say, all right, let's just let this play out and wait and see what happens?
The election?
Yes.
Yes. Well, I'm not bothered by it. Again, this is President Trump, what he does. And so I'm not surprised by it. He does have a right if he feels that he was wronged, which he usually does. So I think it's just going to play out. I think it's going to play out, and I think it's going to end the way it is. To me, it's over in my mind. So we just have to go through the process. There has been no proof yet of fraud. Most of the lawsuits that he have filed in the states have been thrown out. And so I just think he'll go through his process. And then in the end, I think President-elect Biden will be the president, and it'll be time for him to, move on.
Dave Rieger, tens of thousands of people showed up in Washington. Hundreds of people were up at Michigan State Capitol saying, don't give up the fight, continue to fight. Do you think Donald Trump has a legal challenge that might stick? Like Dana said, a lot of the cases have been thrown out, but there's also a lot of allegations that haven't technically been looked at. They haven't done audits yet of the computers to see if there were enough irregularities, but the numbers are large. I mean, Donald Trump would have to somehow flip hundreds of thousands of votes in multiple states, uphill battle for sure. But as you watch it unfold, how do you see it playing out?
I kind of agree with Dana. He has the right to challenge anything that he wants, and he has the right to bring up as many lawsuits as he wants. But in the end, number one, most of the lawsuits are getting thrown out. And number two, you're right. I don't think even if there was fraud going on, which there may have been, there may not have been, I don't think he has enough votes to flip it. Mm-hmm. So I think he's just trying to grasp at straws. And I think he should just probably accept the defeat and move on with whatever he's going to do, whether it's coming out with his streaming service that he might come out with to go after Fox, whether it's prepare to make a run in the next election again. I don't think we've heard the last of Donald Trump at all. Mm-hmm. So, but I don't think that even if it comes out that there was some voter fraud, I don't know if he has enough to flip it.
Well, Donald Trump says over 2 million votes were illegal, and he wants the computer systems checked. Some people call it conspiracy theories. I don't know. I haven't seen any details of how the computers work or not. But there's been a lot of talk about taking a look at the Dominion computer system. We know it had a little glitch in Michigan, and it was discovered early, and some votes that were supposed to go to Trump went to Biden. They caught it early before the results even came out. But those computers are in multiple states, and I don't think that's the only concern they have. But it is interesting. Rudy Giuliani, the president's lawyer, was on again this weekend, insisting that they are going to be able to show evidence that the mail-in votes had enough problems that they're going to be able to somehow turn over millions of votes. It seems hard to believe, but it was interesting in 2000, which this is not like Bush Gore 2000, but at that point in Bush Gore 2000, it went back and forth week by week. It's this ruling just happened, Gore is going to win. Oh, this ruling just happened, Bush is going to win. Then the next week, Gore was going to win. It really wasn't over until the courts had really got through those key decisions. And I think I think there's going to be one major decision that's going to come out, and it's going to be like, okay, time to move on, or a decision is going to come out and say, oh, there's going to be, a recount, with some votes eliminated, and we're going to have to look at this thing.
Could be.
Well, we do want to.
No judges have done that yet.
Not at all. No, not even close.
And we do want to know the truth. If there is something found, we want to know. And as you mentioned before, Kevin, they're going to find some things because nothing is perfect. But overall, they say this has been the most secure election that we've had. So I guess if they have something, we want it to be correct, and we want to know. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you just want to report it as it happens. So far, we haven't seen anything in the courts that looks like it's going to change anything. But we do have a president who is tweeting that, his biggest battle is still in front of him. And so we're going to just have to let it play out, and we'll let you know. We'll all watch it together and see how it unfolds. All right, you're listening to the Paul W. Smith Show. Much more coming up. We're going to just take a quick break and check on weather and traffic with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
Well, fallen power cables, Kevin, and power outages. That's what you're going to face today as you head out on the roadways. If you can stay home, that's your best bet. Most of us will be at home. Van Dyke, both directions, northbound and southbound at Armstrong Road. This is in Lapeer. Power cables are down, so avoid that area. Also, construction in Warren along Van Dyke southbound at 8 Mile. The right lane is closed until 3 p.m. today. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
Now it's starting to feel like fall. Gusty northwest wind around today, gusting 30 to maybe 40 miles an hour. The clouds give way to a partly cloudy day. So a little bit more sun as the day goes on, 44. Clouds will give way to a clear sky tonight. Maybe a rain or snow shower early, 32. Clouds and sun tomorrow, northwest breeze and high of 37. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray staging on News Talk 760 WJR.
I'm talking with the Michigan Economic Relations.
How long in 2000 did we wait to get the announcement of who became president? I forget.
36 days,
Okay.
Which I believe came out to about December 12th or so, somewhere in there.
So we've got some time. We got some time to figure out. We might as well take the time to figure out what was right and what was wrong. But I don't think it's going to make a difference, though.
Well, it could. You know what? It could make a difference. It could make a difference in how we all get along and get along over the next 4 years. I mean, whatever. You still had 70 million people voted for one guy and 70 million voted for the other.
Right,
and it wasn't just one of those kumbayas. Let's support our guy. I mean, it's a battle out there. People,
it wasn't a landslide by any means, like they predicted. The polls predicted it was going to be.
Yeah. So I mean, if you want to move forward, then you just want everyone to say, look, turn the lights on. Here's what happened. Here's what the count was. Okay.
Right. With what went down at the TCF Center, and people are, legitimately skeptical of what.
It would have to be some wild, crazy, systemic problem to get as many votes back as Donald Trump needs.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't mean that it's completely, impossible under any circumstances. I don't have any idea how computers and whatnot all work. I mean, it's that the media all says it's unlikely, but I don't know how they know anything more than I know. They're not, the people. Someone has a computer expert on that says it can't happen. Someone has a computer expert on that says it can happen. I mean, I don't know how anyone's really supposed to know until you take a look.
Every situation and every.
I'm more interested in his streaming service that he's going to start
at uhy-us.com.
You're ready for the next thing?
Again, that's great.
Yeah, here we go.
At uhy-us.com.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again, substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Mike Lee is brought to you by Varnum Law, business law experts that are in your corner. Visit varnumlaw.com. We have been talking about the Michigan Department of Health and Human Service restrictions. They're effective Wednesday and expected to remain in effect until December 8th. That's if they are not extended. Here to talk a little bit about that and more is Mike Lee, Cranes Detroit Business Managing Editor. Mike, thanks for being on the show.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
Good. This announcement is got to be tough for small businesses. Movie theaters, restaurants, arcades, bowling alleys, ice skating rinks, water parks. You name it. This is going to have an impact. How do you see this impacting business in Southeast Michigan?
It's a really difficult situation here. For small businesses that took really the biggest hit in the spring, to ask them to shut down again is going to come with a cost. They feel that they've been, some of these industries feel that they've been unfairly targeted, that they're not a source of spread of the disease. But it's you know, at the same time that you have to weigh that against the fact that I mean, really the numbers are rapidly that line is still almost vertical, and there has to be some move taken to rein in the spread. You know, but for some small businesses, this is going to be a death sentence. I'm glad that it's not my decision to have to make to weigh you know, lives against livelihoods. But we'll have to see. The big difference between now and the spring, businesses had the Paycheck Protection Program, which gave them a boost to get through that time. We don't have that now with the absence of a new stimulus from the federal government. And that's not something that the state can really step in and replace. That requires the financial muscle of the feds. I think a lot of the businesses are hoping that since more and more states are taking moves like this, that the Congress will come around and take action. But that hasn't happened yet.
But it is a reality that many businesses closed in the first wave, and it will be a reality that many businesses will close in the second wave if it's extended beyond the 3-week period. And I just don't know how, you know, I mean, could it work where the numbers drastically drop in the next 3 weeks? It could if everybody did everything they're supposed to. If nobody went near each other, the virus would die off, but that just doesn't happen, and it's not likely to happen. So, I mean, there is Go ahead.
From our experience in the spring, I would say 3 weeks is probably optimistic, especially at a time when, you know, a lot will depend on how well people observe the strictures and stay home. You know, obviously masks are a help. Masks are not foolproof. As we can see, you know, even in places where masking is pretty common at this point, cases are still rising because of the weather. People are indoors. So, you know, the natural way a virus works as we head into winter. And really, it's the extent that people isolate. You know, we're going into Thanksgiving. We'll have to see what people do, but you know, in my opinion, I think 3 weeks is probably optimistic.
Yeah, you're right. It's a tough call trying to decide about the safety of residents here in Michigan and the livelihood of residents here in Michigan. Tough call. Mm-hmm. You guys have another big story on the Northland Center. This is interesting, and maybe it tells us a little bit about you know, the need for apartments and the desire for apartments moving forward. Tell us about that story.
Absolutely. The former Northland property in Southfields, one of the first shopping malls. Southfield's been looking for someone to redevelop that property, and they've got a deal with a developer from Bloomfield Hills called Contour. The plan is really ambitious. 2,800 apartments and townhouses. As far as we've been able to ascertain, if that is all built, it would make it the largest apartment development in the state. They've got a deal to buy the land right now. City Council is going to vote on a tax break, so it's moving forward. The apartments have been a really popular thing for developers to build. Ever since the Great Recession, rents have been very, very high, and apartments are generally profitable. And it could be that there will be demand for downsizing in a tough economy. That's an open question. But if this plan continues to go forward, it's a step up for a property that has mostly been sitting idle.
Yeah, that would be incredible to see that development come to fruition. It's always interesting to me. I always think if apartments are booming, then houses are not, and vice versa. But you also have a story this week about United Wholesale Mortgage, formerly United Shore, and they could not be growing any faster. Maybe that's just that individual company, not the whole market. But tell us about that story.
Yeah, it's Michigan's other mortgage company. They've just been growing by leaps and bounds for several years now, and they keep running out of space. 3 or 4 years ago, they moved up to Pontiac, bought a very large building, moved their folks in there. Now they need to. Then they bought the building across the street, I believe, and now they need to grow again. So this time, the company and CEO Matt Ishbia, they're buying a soccer arena, Ultimate Soccer Arenas in Pontiac. They're going to take half of what sounds like about half of the space, and use it to house about 2,000 employees. They have more than 7,000 now in Pontiac. Half of it's going to remain a soccer arena. The seller, a man named George Derderian, said that was one of the reasons why they like this deal, is because it would keep at least part of the arena for use for soccer clubs and whatnot. But it's a company that employs a whole lot of people up in Pontiac, and we'll see how long they can keep growing.
All right, and you guys have real quickly, but you guys had some breaking news involving the Taubman group, right?
Yes, the Sunday night, back at the beginning of the year, the Taubman shopping mall empire made a deal to be acquired by one of the country's other big mall operators, Simon Property Group. After the pandemic hit, obviously shopping malls were hit. Simon tried to back out of this deal. There was a lawsuit. Taubman sued to force the deal. They went back to the bargaining table apparently in recent weeks, and they've cut a deal for the merger to go forward. They cut the price by about $800 million. But it's an interesting deal because a shopping mall is really, I think these two companies kind of need each other to survive, to make it through the pandemic and the effect it's having on indoor retail.
And you can read all about it in Crane's Detroit Business. Mike Lee, thanks for joining us this morning on the Paul W. Smith Show.
Thanks, Kevin.
Mike Lee is brought to you by Varnum Law, business law experts that are in your corner. Visit varnumlaw.com. Let's check traffic with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Jets Pizza. Your local Jets Pizza is looking for the best of the best to join their team. Think you have the same Detroit-style hustle they pride themselves on? From delivery drivers to crew positions, visit your local Jets and apply to be a part of the coolest crew in Michigan. Jets, better because it has to be.
Construction along Van Dyke southbound at 8 Mile. The right lane is closed until 3 p.m. today. Also, watch for fallen power cables. Van Dyke is shut down both directions at Armstrong Road. This is in Lapeer. Could see some fallen power cables or trees that are down as you travel around today. Also, probably some lights out, so treat those areas as four-way stops. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Looks like the windy conditions for the most part have died down. Could see some wind gusts here and there, but overall looks like things are slightly improving. Cloudy skies and partial clearing today, a high of 43. Tonight, cloudy skies, could see a shower or a wet snow shower possible. Your overnight low 32 for Tuesday. Partly cloudy skies in the morning, then just all clouds, peaks of sunshine in the afternoon, a high of 37. Cloudy skies, 37 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in about 2 minutes.
It's happening. Publishers Clearinghouse is awarding a $2 million
prize in just days. Enter now at PCH.com, and your family could soon be
I feel kind of sad,
celebrating
Kevin.
the win of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Don't miss your last chance to win.
Why is that?
When I was a kid, I grew up in Oak Park, Southfield area. I used to go to Northland all the time, and now it's gone. And now they're going to make apartment buildings.
So he was saying that's going to be the largest apartment building in the state, he thinks. I thought, have you ever been in Somerset Apartments or known anyone who's lived over there?
I've seen them, but
that place is massive. It's got a 9-hole golf course and like 7 swimming pools, and it seems like it takes up, a whole mile or so. We'll have to see how that is.
It seems like everything's gone from Southfield from when I was growing up. It's all changed. It's all different now. like where that over there on Greenfield and like what would be like before you get to 9 Mile over there, there's a like a shopping center with like a Kroger or whatever. It used to be the a movie theater.
What would you consider downtown Southfield?
Downtown Southfield. I guess that kind of that area right around there is like,
because I grew up in Bloomfield Hills. We didn't have a downtown at all, and then I raised my kids in Troy, and the mall was downtown to me. It was like Somerset was the mall was downtown. But.
Right. I mean, I lived really close to that area when I was in Oak Park, and then we just crossed over Greenfield, and I was in Southfield before we moved to West Bloomfield. So yeah, but everything's gone. The movie theater, Northland's going away. It's all apartment complexes and shopping now. It's all changed. It's all different now from when I was a kid.
Yeah,
out there.
But I don't know.
Sometimes that's good, but sometimes you drive around and you don't recognize a place anymore.
I mean, I don't know how popular. I mean, I guess malls are still pretty popular. I don't know with online shopping.
They got problems. So that's why it was kind of interesting to hear the news about Taubman merger that Mike was talking about there. But they got problems all over the country. Amazon is crushing malls.
Yeah, I mean it's so much easier. I mean, it's like why go through all the hassle, and you can just one click and it's there in 2 days, and if you don't like it, you can return it for free. And
yeah,
I mean, is there anything better than Amazon Prime? I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's pretty great.
Yeah, I don't shop either way. I just don't do a lot of shopping. But I started into the arena with, it'd be my turn to go get groceries or something. I'd hate all those big bulky items, that fill up your cart, I didn't want to drag 2 carts around or something. So I started with that, and I started ordering bulk paper towels and toilet paper and coffee. And I'm like, I love when that box comes and that stuff's all there, and I don't have to go get it. And so I can see why people like doing that. The holiday shopping. But the returns would bother me. Is it simple enough to return stuff?
For sure, on Amazon. In fact, here's what makes it even easier: is you can take it to Kohl's locations now. I have taken
and drop it off.
Yeah, I've taken and you don't have to pack it back up. You give them the box, they print you out a label, you got a receipt, and you're out of there. So it's great. Don't have to go wait in line at UPS or at the post office. You don't have to package it up if you don't have tape or anything like that. You don't have to print out anything. You just show them your phone. They scan it. I mean, they make it very easy. They've got it cornered for sure.
Well, that's the only hurdle I see,
I mean, let's be honest. It's all, at least for me personally, when it comes to these things, it's all about convenience, isn't it?
Right.
Isn't it just about, your time is worth something,
Yeah, I don't know. I like some people think of shopping as something they enjoy to do. Like, it's mom and daughter go shopping, or some girlfriends go shopping, or
right.
We used to always meet to Christmas shop, my high school buddies, like the day before Christmas or 2 days before Christmas, and although we just go have lunch, I don't know if anyone actually shopped, but it was under the guise of shopping.
Sure. But at least for me, I'm not. If I'm going to have to go to the mall, I'm going for one specific thing. I'm going right in there, getting what I need and getting out. I'm not I don't like to.
Right. You shop like a guy. Get in, get out.
Yeah,
me too.
walk around.
So it takes me.
I don't have time for that.
7 minutes. I know what I want. I go get it. I'm like, close enough. Let's go.
Like it's usually going to the Apple store. That's my usual place that I'm going to go get something or buy, or if I have an issue or if I'm looking for something.
But then we need to create more places to go then. if we're going to take shopping out, if you take the mall, if you just take the mall out, I mean, a lot of kids, their social life is going to the mall, or it was when we were kids anyway.
I don't know how many kids go to the mall anymore. I don't know. It's different now.
Where do they go? They're just online. Everyone's just online. No one ever goes anywhere. You're in your bunker and just looking at your phone.
You just had the PS5 released. You can't even find it, right now. So
yeah.
I mean, it's totally different now. Everything is just you don't see. It's like they say all the time. God, I sound like I'm an old man now too, and I don't but I don't feel like I'm an old man. But the kids aren't playing baseball in the parks anymore.
That'd be fine if they did that too. They could turn the malls. They could take all that mall space to me and turn it into indoor sporting, skateboarding and baseball nets and basketball courts. That'd be fine with me. Big, huge, massive centers. But you got to have some place to go. You can't stay home all the time.
Right. Sure. It's totally different now. But you're right. Back in the day, it was go to the mall, go to the movies, whatever else that we used to do.
Yeah, kids like to go to the movies, but not right now. Not in the next 3 weeks.
No.
Did you get to a movie while it was open? I didn't even get to one. Not that I don't know if
Offices need to be consistently cleaned and
afraid to. I just didn't.
John
There's
is
nothing
the
to see.
CEO of New Image Building
never
Services.
got there.
We've been creating cleaning plans across all types of businesses for 32 years. Visit newimagebld.com.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Good morning. It is 6:35 a.m. on this Monday morning, November the 16th, 2020. We're going to bring in Dick Hafner to join us for the next few minutes. Dick, how are you?
Putting me back on the hot seat, huh?
I got you on the hot seat. I want to walk through these restrictions with you a little bit. You just say, hey, the new restrictions are in place for the next 3 weeks, and it just sort of rolls off the tongue. But the reality for an awful lot of people, this is a very serious announcement that's going to have a big impact in a lot of different ways. I was just in the break talking with Dave about movie theaters, say. I didn't get to a movie theater in the period here where it was open, from when it closed in March or April, whenever they first shut the movie theaters down. They were one of the last things to reopen, and I was like, oh, great, I love going to the movies, but I haven't gone to the movies yet, and now they're closed down again, and I gotta imagine this is going to be a huge hit to shut down now for 3 more weeks over Thanksgiving, when traditionally a lot of people will go catch a movie,
right.
And who knows if it'll get extended beyond that. But these decisions are going to have a lot of impacts.
Yep, they will. And those restaurants that have struggled to stay open, some didn't, but many of them reopened. And now in this very busy part of the season for restaurants closed for 3 weeks, heading right into and into part of the Christmas and Thanksgiving time, that you can see that some restaurants are going to be put out of business, and the restaurant employees again being told to stay home. No, it's very, very tough.
There are more restaurant employees than just about any other industry. So many people, not tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of people work in that industry that the shutdown is going to send them back home. And right now, there is no new stimulus check coming for the workers, and the owners are also no stimulus money coming for them either. I remember talking to some owners the first time around. They're like, I wish we had more notice. We ordered all this food, then all this food went to waste. And then when they opened up again, it was last minute. We tried to order food. We couldn't get food for a little bit. And now I think about, this upcoming week, probably stores pretty well stocked up, getting ready for Thanksgiving for those who go out on Thanksgiving.
Right. Well, at least the stores are stocked up. But like you say, the restaurants that were stocking up to stay in business had virtually no notice. But I noticed something, Kevin, this weekend, just driving around. There were a number of restaurants that I noticed that were closed. And I think it's because the owners suspected what was going on, and they were not restocking their restaurants, and they have just closed down. So some of them were expecting what the governor just did, but heading into Thanksgiving with the restaurants closed, it's very difficult. At least the food companies, the big suppliers like Tyson Foods, we'll have a story in our 7 o'clock newscast about Tyson Foods, which is the largest food supply company in the country. What they are doing now and how it's different than the first time around. So it looks like at least there's a good possibility that we won't see those food shortages that cropped up in the spring.
Yeah, and I know that was talk that was really going around, and when you were talking with friends and family over the weekend, people were like, "Hey, are we supposed to be loading up again? Are we supposed to be going to buy toilet paper and paper towel, and what else were we short on? Coffee and peanut butter and all of these things?" But perhaps now that we've been through it once, maybe we'll be a little more prepared in that regard.
Right. And, I think now you recognize, I believe most people recognize that the spot shortages that occurred in the spring were the result of just panic buying. That's all it was. There was no more use of toilet paper. There was no more consumption of chicken, et cetera, et cetera. It's just that people were panicking and buying as much as they could fit into their cars.
But how about the schools? I mean, I know they were shut down before. I mean, can they just flip a switch and all of a sudden you're back to completely virtual? You got high schools and colleges, distance learning by Wednesday, like announcement Sunday, you're distance learning by Wednesday.
Well, that's the question for them. At least they've been through the drill before. And parents now know what it takes to cope with this. I guess we're in a better position now than we were the first time around, but I don't know how much easier that makes it.
Yeah, and I feel bad for the athletes as well. I have a niece who Maggie was ready to go into the state finals for volleyball. They had won the regionals, they were ready, and that's on hold now. Now the High School Sports Association said they're going to still play those eventually. They're just postponed, but we've heard that before too. But that's a small price when you're talking about saving lives and you're talking about hospital beds filling up and you're talking about death, the numbers of death per day skyrocketing. It's tough.
Well, that's it. Like the governor and others have said, what would you rather have, your activities or your life?
Yeah, very, very difficult times. COVID-19 has been rough. 2020 has been rough, and it looks like this winter and the next 3 weeks for sure is also going to be rough. You're listening to
treading water until a vaccine shows up that will fix this.
Let's hope it fixes it. All right, Dick Hafner, thank you very much. We appreciate you stepping in here. We are going to take a quick break on the Paul W. Smith Show. Let's check traffic and weather with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Everstream, the business-only fiber network. At Everstream, the business-only fiber network, they believe business deserves better. Everstream's full-service approach to business connectivity delivers the speed and reliability that businesses demand. Everstream, faster fiber, better business.
Construction in Warren along Van Dyke southbound at 8 Mile. The right lane is closed until 3 p.m. today. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
Little breeze around, adding a little bite to the air this morning. Winds are gusting 30-plus miles an hour at times. The clouds give way to partial clouds and sunshine, especially by this afternoon. A chilly 44. Overnight tonight, a rain or snow shower early, then we'll clear it out. 32. Suburbs a little colder. Tuesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine, a gusty northwest wind, and a high of 37. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray staging on Newstalk 760 WJR.
There are other automakers,
but there's only one that's built for Detroit.
Am I supposed to read this 644 SAE Ion Engineering?
Remembers the Motor City who birthed it.
Danielle,
the one restoring the old
supposed
train
to read
station.
a live read
the
at
one that
644.
employs more hourly
Lindsay
workers
Brooke.
in the U.S. than any other automaker. The one that assembles more vehicles in the U.S. than any other manufacturer.
30 seconds.
The
We'll
one
give
that
you got to read it.
PPE to frontline workers in Detroit.
Yeah,
and
Engineering.
assembled ventilators
So after this commercial's done?
Yep. Yeah. I'm going to step out for a sec so you can listen, and then I'll come back.
Family-led business in Detroit. Built for Detroit. Built for America. Built Ford proud.
Based on Center for Automotive Research data. Based on IHS Market CYE 2019 U.S. light vehicle production data. Assembled with U.S. and imported content.
SAE Ion Engineering with Lindsay Brooke with Automotive Engineering Magazine is brought to you by Continental Automotive, the future in motion. Visit continental-automotive.com to find out more.
Demand for authentic, go-anywhere, four-wheel drive vehicles is exploding.
You know, anybody who did not expect this was going to be happening again, obviously wasn't paying attention to what's going on.
When they said there's going to be a second wave, there's going to be a second wave,
I
there's going to
mean,
be a second
you know,
wave.
it's like,
And,
yeah.
Well, how about Europe? I mean, all of Europe's been shut down for 3. They're ahead of us still. Their second wave is in full blast.
You know, the big problem is, you know, during the summer, you could go outside, you could take a walk, you could go play golf, you could go go boating, whatever. You know, what's going to make this one tough is that as the weather gets worse, you won't be able to do any of that stuff.
But you know, why did the numbers jump so quickly while the weather was still good? We were all still outside, you know, and these numbers soared. What, you know,
It was the gatherings.
Because
it was sports coming back,
super spreaders.
It was all the different you know, events that happened and the get-togethers. That's probably what it was. And so now, you know, with everybody having to stay indoors because the weather is going to get bad,
well,
it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Steve's going to join us here with Mike O'Hara.
Correct. You're going to have both Mike O'Hara and Steve Courtney talk about big Lions win yesterday.
Oh my goodness! What was it? 57 the last year they won.
Yeah, their championship was 51 playoff win since 1957. 1991 Cowboys Silverdome. Oh yeah, it's been a while.
I can't remember how long ago it was, but I gave up on them when they had to. I think they had to win a game to get into the playoffs, or it was a playoff game. It was against San Francisco, and the kicker hit the field goal post.
Yeah, that was Eddie Murray. That was Amani Clark praying on the sidelines.
That was it for me. I was like, okay, my heart has been broken and shattered. I'm done. I'm not. I'm coming back as a fan, but I'm not emotionally going to ride this roller coaster through drafts. And,
Kevin and Dick.
So you don't have all the highs and the high and the lows of the low that all the Lions fans have gone through for all these years.
You know, it's funny. I transferred it for no reason from the Lions to Michigan football at the time. And Michigan always won like 8 games or 9 games. It was fine. I was happy. Everything, you know. And then when you watch the Lions lose, you'd be like, oh, you know, you look for it. Like it would almost not that you root for it, but you know, you go, here we go. You know, here we go. And it didn't hurt. But
so now you have nowhere to turn.
I'm looking for a team. You know, even as a kid, I liked Miami. I liked the Dolphins. As a little kid, I liked their uniforms.
They're like 6-3 now with 3-0 since Tua took over.
Maybe I'll head back there.
Or why don't you just be like every other Michigan fan and root for Tampa Bay because of Tom Brady?
Yeah. Well, my son went to Michigan State. I'm happy to root for them. I do root for them, but that's been tough too.
Yeah.
So I don't know where to go for football. I just I don't need to win every week, but I mean, I guess I could just root for Ohio State. Would that upset anyone?
Man, you're gonna switch from Michigan to Ohio State.
I would just say, like, you can't go to Alabama either, because if you go to Alabama, all the Michigan State fans will be mad at you because they're still mad at Saban. You can't. I mean, you got to pick a winning program. I don't know, where do you go?
Saban went from Michigan State to LSU.
Yeah,
to
Alabama. Oh, to NFL. Yeah,
went to Miami for a little while.
Right.
I'll never forget I'm not going to be the next coach of Alabama. The next day, he's the coach of Alabama. And
they got mad at him for chasing the money, but it's worked out pretty well for him. He's got a lot of rings, a lot of championships, a lot of money.
I mean, it's that's a machine down there. It's crazy. It's unbelievable. Saban's a good coach. I mean, he comes from that. He was in the NFL along with the Belichick and all those guys, and it's just an absolute machine down there in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, people tell me the recruiting is insane. They have someone in every state talking to every kid.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. College recruiting. It's like Coach K in basketball for Duke. Same thing. It's absolutely insane.
Michigan State's got some good recruits coming in basketball. Michigan's is number one ranked right now.
A lot of people, good players coming too.
Maybe we just give up on football for a little while. I'll go to like Pee Wee football or something. Go to high school. I'll go back to Brother Rice. Go back to my roots. Root for my high school team.
Just start going to Chrysler Center and watch Michigan basketball.
Yeah.
Or head out to.
My sister's on the wall there. There's a life-size picture of her.
Right.
I went to Western. Maybe I can just drive over to Kalamazoo and watch Western play.
Yeah. Hold on one second.
It's a Detroit tradition since 1927.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Well, if you're a Lions fan, you got all you could handle yesterday, Sunday. The Lions winning 30-27 on a game-winning 59-yard field goal by Matt Prater. Unbelievable. Really looked like the Lions jumping out in front, way out in front, then giving up the lead, touchdown after touchdown after touchdown until it was tied. And then, boom, Matt Stafford gets it downfield, a nice little penalty, and bring on Matt Prater for the 59-yard field goal try, and boom, up it goes. Michael Hare and Steve Courtney are here to talk Lions football. Gentlemen, okay, we got a win.
Yeah, indeed there, Kev. You better believe it. Good morning again, everyone. Let's go early third quarter, number 9. Matthew Stafford finds DeAndre Swift. That's a touchdown. That's a 24-3 Lions lead. It's going to hold up, isn't it? Well, this has been kind of the deal, the Achilles heel, if you will, for this Detroit Lions team, holding the big lead. That's where we begin the breakdown with Mo Better Blues. Michael, how are you this morning?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, guys. Good to be with you.
You take a look at what this Lions team, in particular, Mo, defensively was up to. Everything seemed to be in control. You go to that score that I just alluded to. It's 24-3. Everything is looking good. And then Alex Smith and that Washington football team had different ideas, putting up 21 straight. And you're thinking, Mike, here we go again.
Well, yeah, there they went again. And then, they tie the game. Lions untie it with a field goal by Matt Prater. They tie it again. Lions win it on a field goal by Matt Prater. Look, it's a good win. Understand Washington's record now. You got they're 2-7 now. Wasn't the greatest opponent, but they did something they had to do. A couple things they had to do. One of them is finally win a home game after 7 straight losses?
Yeah,
2 this year, 5 last year. And are they in playoff contention? Not really, but they're not out of it because of yesterday. So. And live to play another month or another week by week, and it adds up to they did what they had to do. Was it elegant? No, but it worked.
Well, technically, the Lions getting their first home win, Mike, in 385 days. I don't know if the banks are closed today or not because of the holiday, but we'll check. Meanwhile, let's talk about DeAndre Swift. He gets his first NFL start, 16 carries, 81 yards. He also, as I mentioned earlier, contributes receiving-wise, 5 receptions for 68 yards, and that score. I know it's a running back by committee with the Lions, Mike, because of Swift's performance. Is he the leader in the clubhouse?
Well, he's the chairman of the committee, by no question. I mean, look, he had 14 carries, 5 catches. That's 19 touches. Adrian Peterson was next with 3 carries and 1 reception, and Kerryon Johnson chipped in with 1 rush. So, yeah, absolutely. And this isn't the first time, though, that DeAndre Swift has gotten the majority of the touches now. I think Adrian Peterson, if you look back on it, probably has had more games so far of the 9 games where he had the most touches. But he's gotten Swift has gotten his carries, he's gotten his receptions, and I don't think there's any doubt in anybody's mind that last April the Detroit Lions found their running back of the present and the immediate future and maybe the long-term future too. This is really a good football player.
Matthew Stafford, interesting TV cameras, Mike, 29 seconds left in the first quarter, showing Matthew getting some attention to his throwing hand, had some tape put on it, as a matter of fact. Didn't seem to bother him. 24-33, 276 yards, 3 touchdowns, a rating of 127.8. You take a look at that game-winning drive. Lions get it 1st and 10 at their 25, little pass to Quintez Cephas. That sets up 1st and 10. Overthrows Cephas deep, roughing the passer on Chase Young. Thank you very much. Lions now 1st and 10 at midfield. 6 seconds remaining. Matthew finds Marvin Jones. In comes Matt Prater, 59-yard attempt. The rest, Mike, as they say, is history. That was well done.
Well, let me just go back to one thing on the overthrow on Cephas. That ball was right on the money, but Quintez, for whatever reason, pulled up a little bit. It would have been right in his hand. So that was an absolute perfect throw. We could have run right through the tunnel into the locker room if he'd kept going and caught the ball. But, the one thing about it, Marvin Jones was on the Zoom interview after the game, and just absolutely no panic in what they did. It just, he on his side, there's no temptation to catch the ball and keep running and see if he could score a touchdown. He did exactly what he was supposed to do. Ran his route, cut to his left, caught the ball, went down. 3 seconds left, Lions win the game. That's, those guys have played together, Jones and Matthew and Kenny Galladay when he's healthy for so long. It's almost robotic how they operate. And the last couple of minutes of the first half, last couple of minutes of the game is absolutely, like I said, no panic. It's just routine stuff. They love that part of the game.
Yeah, Matt Prater says he hit it a little bit fat, kind of like one of your 9-irons, Mike, but obviously got enough of it. Now we'll see if the Lions can build on this victory, Mo. They will go to Carolina to face the Panthers, who gave Tom Brady and the Buccaneers a game for about 5 minutes yesterday, finally falling 46-23. Got to build on it, Mike.
Well, absolutely. And they've lost 5 straight now, the Panthers, and they may have lost their quarterback for a little bit of time. Teddy Bridgewater injured his knee, came out of the game late. Look, I hope he plays. He's a great kid. He's really had some tough luck in his career, but really a good player and an even better person. And then back on Thanksgiving Day against the Houston Texans, who've won 2 games. So it's in front of the Lions to get above 500, to get to 6-5, and then make a run in the last 5 games if they can do that.
All right, we'll talk about that Carolina tilt come Friday, Mo. Appreciate your time.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Kev.
All right, Steve Courtney, Mike O'Hara from DetroitLions.com. Let's take a look at traffic with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
75 northbound at Clark Street. Accident just reported blocking the right shoulder. Also downriver in Southgate, 4th Street at Pennsylvania Road. Accident is in the way there. Disabled vehicle I-69 eastbound after M53 in the pier. It is blocking the left shoulder. Also a disabled vehicle in St. Clair, I-69 eastbound at Wales Center Road, also blocking that right shoulder. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. We keep the windy conditions, although it's going to be much, much better today. Cloudy skies, some peaks of sunshine later, a high of 43 tonight. Cloudy conditions could see a mix of rain and even some wet snow possible. Your low 32 for Tuesday, partly cloudy skies. Then some sunshine peeking out in the afternoon, a high of 37. Cloudy skies, 37 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in 2 minutes.
With no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts.
Kind of like Taylor Swift choosing what to wear.
It's kind of chilly out today. I think I'll go with a cardigan.
Yep, even easier than that. And with our top-rated app, you can
What's going on, Dave?
anywhere.
Making Capital One an even
You know,
easier decision. That's banking.
Doing your thing back there.
getting ready, trying to
Approval required. Terms apply. Capital One.
trying to work through some computer things here.
Computer issues.
Mm-hmm.
Got to wake up Tony Paul for the next segment.
Yeah, we're gonna have Danielle call Tony.
24-hour immune support. And it lasts up to 2 times longer than
We're gonna have
regular
Danielle
vitamin
call
C.
Tony
So don't just
for the next
settle for any
segment
vitamin C.
for the Masters update
Buy
on
Ester
Dustin
C
on
and
DJ.
support your immune health today.
Danielle has so much more enthusiasm than Brian Morton on Monday mornings.
Prevent any disease.
Yeah, Danielle, you do. Kevin says you have way more enthusiasm than Brian Morton on Monday mornings.
Education. I don't know why or how. More than ever. Support. Learn more at donorschoose.org.
Danielle's always very very festive, very excited to be here.
Festivus for the rest of it.
That's
Shows that from?
It's Seinfeld.
Okay.
Yes, I know. Yes, everyone knows that, right?
I think so.
But you're Danielle, I think, is watching Seinfeld late though.
For the first time, she says.
Yeah, like she's catching up, like
she's a millennial.
Yeah, that shows from the 90s.
Yes.
Well, that's all right. I'm just watching Office for the first time, and everyone else watched The Office 5 years ago.
I like The Office. The Office was good. Seinfeld was good. I like those shows. Those were all good.
I mean, if we're going to do lockdown again, we're really going to run out of shows.
That is true. What shows would you recommend for someone that they haven't seen? That's a real good show.
I just watched Queen's Gambit. It was excellent. It really was.
The one about the
chess player.
Okay, I heard it was good.
It's only one season, so it's like only 7 episodes.
Okay.
And
that's about the prodigy chess player.
Yeah. It's not a true story. It looks like it would be, but she's an orphan and becomes one of the world's best players.
Okay.
That's really good.
And they can make playing chess exciting, huh?
Yeah. I keep flipping on. I started like about 3 months ago. I started rewatching West Wing, which had like 7 seasons to it, and I just put it on for background noise. But that was a well done show. I mean, it's old. It might be 20 years old, but it was pretty well done. And then someone told me they're just watching Breaking Bad for the first time. That was excellent. And I missed The Wire, believe it or not, the first time around, which is like some people's top 5. And so I have season 1, episode 1 in.
If you're a fan of Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul is fantastic.
Yeah, no, I started that immediately because I like
so good.
I like Breaking Bad, and I started Better Call Saul, and I didn't get into it right away. And then people said it's fantastic. It's had like 4 or 5 seasons.
It's
now, right?
great. You just have to give it a chance. It's very slow build up. I mean,
Married with Children, that's a good binge. Yeah.
Almost to the point where he's going to meet up with Walter White.
Almost there. I liked the character too. There wasn't anything I didn't like. Who knows what was going on. Sometimes you have a lot of time on your hands, and sometimes you don't. But
yeah, I mean,
I may go back and try that because I liked Breaking Bad and I liked the character. I just didn't. It's so great. I mean.
A lot of Patrick says Vikings, Utopia, The Boys. The Boys is a good show. Utopia, The Boys is about these superheroes, but they're bad.
Okay.
Like they have superpowers, but they like do bad things. But you kind of root for them.
Okay.
And Utopia is about this guy that draws this comic, and there's like a big all-out quest to get a copy of this. They did a Utopia 1. He did like a sequel to it. And I watched a couple episodes.
I forgot about Amazon Prime. I have Amazon Prime. We got it for like some show. Somebody said to go watch The Amazing Mrs. Maisel or something, which was a good show.
Yeah.
But then I forgot about it. So I go to Netflix and start searching around. I got to go check out Amazon. I can't remember all these channels, all these shows.
Prime and Hulu and
now Peacock is, if I figure out how to turn that on, I have that. I don't have the one that has the morning show? Is it Apple TV maybe?
That's awesome. Apple TV has.
I
Apple
don't have
TV,
that
Apple
one.
TV Plus that has the morning show. Yep.
Yeah, I don't have that yet.
And of course, and what about the Saved by the Bell reboot that's coming out on Peacock streaming? Come on.
There you go. Was Zach? Or,
Yeah, Zach's the governor of California now. Great.
That was after my time, but I'm familiar with the references, but not as much the show.
Yeah. Very cool. All right, I'm going to step out for 1 second and call Tony Paul on get you set up.
Overseas markets are looking good.
I'm Dick Hafner, WJR News. More coming up with Kevin Dietz.
Wherever your family calls home, Blue Cross is here for you. By supporting and building healthy communities in every zip code, we're providing a healthier future for all of Michigan. For 81 years, we've kept this promise to help strengthen our neighbors, to stand by their side during the moments they need us most. We're here for it all, and always will be. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Confidence comes with every card. To learn more, visit hereforitall.com.
Recent storms have caused many outages, and DTE is working to restore power as quickly as possible. Of course, the most important thing is your safety. If you see a downed line, report it through your DTE app or call 800-477-4747. Remember, stay at least 20 feet away. Don't touch anything near it, and keep kids and pets away too. Yes, an outage is inconvenient, but together we can keep it safe. DTE. If your power is out, a generator can make things easier. But DTE wants you to know how to keep your family safe. Never ever use a portable generator inside your home. It emits carbon monoxide, which can be deadly. Keep it outside, away from windows and doors, so the fumes won't come in. Read the manufacturer's safety instructions and follow them. Generators can make outages more bearable, but please use them safely. DTE.
Express car buying made easy at Dick Huvar's Richmond Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram delivers. Dick Huvar's huge inventory allows easy access to Ram Power Day savings. 100% online vehicle experience at driveenvy.com. Instant pricing, hassle-free. Build your deal online now during Ram Power Days. Buy your next car from Dick Huvar's Richmond Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Visit drivemyenvy.com. Car buying made easy.
From the great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
Bryson DeChambeau was the favorite going in. Tiger Woods was the returning champion, and Dustin Johnson, the world's #1 player. All three were interesting stories for different reasons at the Masters. Good morning. It is Monday, November the 16th, 2020. Thanks for stopping by WJR 760 AM, where Detroit comes to talk. We're also on Facebook Live if you'd like to join us there. And joining us now this morning to talk all things Masters is Tony Paul of the Detroit News. Tony, thanks for being on the show.
Hey, good morning, Kevin.
So I started out watching Bryson DeChambeau to see if he was just going to drive these greens and make this like a Masters I had never seen before. That did not exactly happen.
No, it didn't. He didn't play particularly well for whatever reason. He had a couple interesting comments about his health and how he wasn't feeling good out there. But, I wasn't, I think a lot of people were liking Bryson just because, he was going to turn it into a little bit of a shorter course. But, the one thing about the Masters that it's taught us over the years is it's a lot about the around the greens, and the putting and the chipping is very complex and very complicated there. So even some of the guys that hit the ball further than anybody, don't necessarily turn that into, low numbers just because it's all about, the green complexes at Augusta. And he didn't putt and chip particularly well. So if you don't do that at Augusta, you're not going to have much success. And I think that was a big part of his problem this week.
When it's a major and it's the Masters, you got to keep your eye on Tiger Woods, and he was hanging tough there for a while, and then wow, what a hole on the final day, number 12, par 3, ends up with a 10, hitting it into the water 3 times on the same hole. Looked a little like Tin Cup there. That was so. I don't want to pick on Tiger Woods. The guy's unbelievably amazing, 5 Masters. But that was really something to see. Some sort of a meltdown. Was that the same hole Jordan Spieth had his problem on?
Yeah, It was. Number 12 is one of the coolest par threes in the world. It's only 150 yards. One of the shorter. I think it's the shortest par three at Augusta, but a very short par three in terms of most other places. So many of the tough par threes in the PGA Tour these days are 200, 210, 230 yards, and this is just a small little 150-yard hole that'll bite you. I mean, it has bitten many a golfer over the years. Jordan Spieth was cruising to a second green jacket a few years back, second green jacket in a row, and he ends up making a big number there with 2 balls in the water. And yeah, it got up and it bit Tiger Woods yesterday. He got a 10, and the highest score he's ever made at Augusta is that 10. So it's just a tough little tricky hole, and with the wind blowing and you can't really feel the wind because of the trees behind the green, it's just a very difficult hole, and it can change. It's changed many a Masters over the years.
Well, and last year it did, right? Everybody went in the water except Tiger last year.
Right? Yeah, it's just a crazy hole because you can't really. You have a hard time gauging the wind because of the trees behind the green. So you just have to guess and guess perfectly. And Tiger even said afterward yesterday that he didn't guess right. But I will say this, that Tiger wasn't going to win it yesterday. He was pretty much out of contention. But this is what makes Tiger Woods so special. He's out of contention, even with or without the 10, he's out of contention. But he makes the 10. He could have easily packed it in. That guy went out on the next 6 holes and made 5 birdies coming in. That shows you how much grit and how much pride he has in what he does.
Yeah, he's amazing. And tell us about Dustin Johnson, the winner of the Masters. World's #1 player. Really unbelievable weekend for him. 20 under, record low score.
Yeah, and I think that he even mentioned it was a very impressive low score. 20 under is the record. He beat the record set by Tiger in '97 and matched by Jordan Spieth a few years back. Even Justin admitted yesterday that the course would play easier in November than it does normally in April. But it was the perfect champion for 2020. It was a low key tournament with no fans, and he had a low key winner. And Dustin Johnson, he's just a very chill, relaxed guy on the golf course who just has amazing skill. And it was about 4 or 5 years ago where he started hitting a fade, started fading the ball instead of drawing the ball. So it took a little bit of distance off his drives, but he figured getting it in play was the best bet and working on his wedges. And that's what won it for him this week. I mean, he was just precision personified with the wedges. I mean, he laid up on 2 of the par 5s in the back 9 yesterday, still made birdie. He's an amazing golfer. And again, perfect winner for 2020, just a very laid back guy.
Yeah, no drama, no fans, but we really got to see the course. It was beautiful, and I really enjoyed it. It was really fun to watch. Tony Paul, Detroit News, thanks for being on the show.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
All right. It is 7:11. Let's check WJR's Business Beat. Here's Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of Startup Nation, to spotlight the entrepreneurial tech and startup community here on WJR.
Good morning, Kevin. We all know how dramatically our lives have changed in 2020, and along with it, businesses, specifically our small businesses, have been forced into dramatic change as well. One of the more glaring changes, the need to be online as a primary way of doing business, not a supplementary way. But figuring out how to do that efficiently and in a low-cost way that delivers a supreme customer experience, well, I've got a tip for you on how to do just that. One of the most highly recommended go-to turnkey solutions to consider is Shopify. With over 1 million merchants now on board, it's easy to use and it can put you in front of a worldwide marketplace readily and efficiently. Once you're on board with Shopify, it will run seamlessly behind the scenes, powering your website so that you can conduct all e-commerce activities from getting found to closing sales. I spoke with Samantha Renee of Shopify this morning, and she offers a step-by-step course on how to get started successfully with Shopify and had this to say.
Our broad mission at Shopify is to make commerce better for everyone. And that just means making it easy for people like entrepreneurs who want to, whether it's start a new business or even bring an existing business online, we make that easy. And you can start a store on Shopify, which is like your full website. And from there, you can host your products and sell products, whether it's in person or online. And it just gives you an easy way to sell globally. We make shipping easy. We make all all the things that you might bump into as a business owner. You will have access to all of the things that I mentioned before in terms of managing your inventory. You get discounts on shipping. You get access to 24-hour customer support. You get everything that you would need to start and grow a business for $29.
So needing to ramp up your online sales or thinking of starting a new online business of your own? Think Shopify. I'm Jeff Sloan, founder and CEO of StartupNation.com, and that's today's business beat on the great voice of the Great Lakes, WJR.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
75 northbound at Clark Street. Accident is blocking the right shoulder. Also in Southgate, Fort Street at Pennsylvania Road. Accident causing slight delays at 10 Southgate. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
Some chillier weather in today on a west breeze. Gusty winds this morning. The clouds give way to a partly cloudy day today, so more sun as the day goes on. A high of 44 later. Still a gusty wind over 40 miles an hour. Tonight we will clear out, maybe a little rain or snow early, 32. Cloud sun tomorrow with a high of only 37, still a gusty northwest breeze. From a Weather Channel meteorologist Ray Stage on News Talk 760 WJR.
This is Pastor Kent W. Clark, CEO of Grace Centers of Hope. At Grace Centers of Hope, more families come to us at this time of year than any other. We're only able to meet the needs of the growing numbers of people who come to our doors during the holiday season with your a nutritious meal for only $2.05 per meal. That's less than a cup of coffee.
No, I checked last night before I went to bed. I didn't see anything.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Will you check with the next guest, the pronunciation of her last name? Is it Ellen or Elin?
I'll find out for you. Hold on a second.
Can feed 10 people. Centers of Hope.
It's pronounced Ellen.
Thanks. That's what I thought, but
60
yeah,
years,
she's all set
Mesa
to go.
has delivered exceptional health benefits to Michigan schools and public employees. Mesa believes
Danielle wanted me to mention to you that there's a show that you should also watch called, I think she said it was called Wentworth.
Web what?
Wentworth.
Oh, Wentworth.
Apparently it's an Australian show.
I've heard of it. I don't. I've not seen it.
For the past year.
I think that's one when people like. There's a Facebook group called what to watch on Netflix or something, or what to watch. And Wentworth is mentioned a lot on there.
It is strongly recommended by calling 313-829-0773. That's 313.
I mean, I think you could go back to with this lockdown that's coming again. Just go back to some of the classics, maybe The Sopranos,
yeah,
or maybe Lost, or maybe The Shield, another one of my favorites from back in the day.
I never saw 24. My parents watched that and really liked it.
24 was so great.
Was it?
Yes. Jack Bauer, Kiefer Sutherland and Jack Bauer is the best. 24 was a great show.
The nice thing is you can just watch them all in a row now, pretty much commercial free. And
then he showed up again as the president, in Designated Survivor.
I saw that. I saw most of that one.
Which was like then they moved it to Netflix and they kind of changed it, made it a little bit more edgy. Now it's done, but he was kind of a toned down Jack Bauer. He was kind of Jack Bauer, but he really wasn't Jack Bauer.
He was kind of I needed him to do more in that Designated Survivor.
I know.
I just wanted him to step up and.
I know. He was just the what was he the?
He was like the seventh in line, or
the agriculture, the agricultural.
Right,
guy.
they picked somebody to not be at the State of the Union,
right?
Just in case. And
this was a good one. Speaking of Amazon Prime, the Amanda High Castle was a good show too. Yeah, I like that show Batman from That shows that can't be.
Which one?
She's like Batman. She's like Batman.
The original?
Batman from the 60s.
Oh, yeah, that's the best. Bam, pow, kabam.
Yeah. Go.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again, substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services restrictions effective Wednesday include in-person work is only allowed when doing that work remotely is not possible. That means more of us are going to be working from home again. Joining us on the line now is Wendy Ellen, productivity expert and author of a new book called Working from Home, How's That Working You? Welcome to the Paul W. Smith Show, Wendy.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Just cranking here in my home office.
That's good. What is the secret to working successfully from home?
First of all, this is one of those things that we have control over. So while we don't have control over the coronavirus, and we don't have control over a lot of what else is going on in the world right now, we have control over how we function in our home working space. That's number one. So I just say, take control, make it happen. It's not hard to do.
So for me, I need to have a good setup. I need to know where my stuff is, how it's going to work, where everything is. Is that hard to do at home?
It's not hard to do at home, but the first thing you need to do is you need to clean up your mess. So that's the first thing I recommend everybody do, is take a look around them and see what they're living in right now. Living in, not working in, living in, because now we're working in our living space. And if it's a mess, it's time to clean it up. It's time to get rid of all the stuff you don't need, because I always tell my clients, when you clean up your mess, the perfect space for you to work from literally reveals itself. You just can't see it right now under all the mess.
And so do you end up putting your work space away every day and turn it back into a home, or do you leave it your workspace Monday through Friday and then turn it back into your home on the weekend, or do you just say, look, this is the way it is now. We have workspace and home space.
Yes. Here's the thing. I always recommend that you clean it up before you leave it, so you come into a clean space the next day, no matter where it is, whether it's an office with a door, whether it's the corner of your dining room table. But I'm really convinced, particularly after doing a ton of research online about what kind of products are out there to create sort of quasi offices in your home, that you don't have to work off of your dining room table. If you have a wall in your house, you can create an office right there on a wall.
And one
You
of the
can
other
literally, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, one of the other things about working from home is, like, when you go to your office, you sort of feel like you can leave all your home problems behind, and you say, oh, well, I'll get to that when I get home. And there's the kids or the dog or a leaky faucet. How do you sort of block all of that out for your workday?
Well, you kind of don't block it out. That's the whole thing. Everybody's thinking they're going to block that out, but like I'm really the most realistic human being I know. And so the very first thing I recommend everybody doing is that they consider their home team before their work team. Right now, we have a responsibility to the people who are under our roof every day with us. So one of my first tips in the book is a home team huddle. Every morning, every single morning, meet with your home team around the kitchen table over breakfast or whatever. My husband stands and eats his cereal while I drink my coffee over the kitchen counter. And the first thing I say is, what does your day look like? And he'll say to me, I have a Zoom call at 4 o'clock tonight, so can you take Ruby out because I can't be interrupted? That's our dog. And I'll say, yes, but I have a call at 11 to 12 that I can't be interrupted for, so can you do the same? So we're literally taking it day by day, but asking your home team, your kids, your spouse, your partner, whoever, what do they have going on in that particular day? You really got to take this day by day, because every day changes.
And do you find that people that you do work with are more understanding when you maybe have to move a Zoom call a little bit, or you have to adjust a little bit, or maybe you have the dog in the room for your Zoom call because your husband's call that day is more important, or vice versa?
Yes. Here's the thing. Transparency is the name of this game. Point blank. That's it. Transparency is the name of this game. You got to talk to your people. You got to talk to your Zoom calls. A lot of times I'll get on a Zoom and I'll say, hey, look, guys, I know that FedEx is going to deliver a package to my door within the hour that I'm on the call with you. And when the doorbell rings, the dog's going to bark. I'm just putting it out there ahead of time. Just put it out there. We all have these challenges. Every single one of us has something going on in their office now. That's the most common issue about working from home, is that we all are dealing with our own individual, unique experiences. But interruptions are going to happen.
Yeah, I think when you learn to give up control of things you can't control, it goes a little smoother.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is there are so many things right now going on that are out of our control, but the one thing we have is how our workplace functions, and that means how our home functions. Look, I say this is the biggest silver lining of COVID-19, getting organized. The biggest silver lining. You're in it every day, all day. You don't have the luxury of throwing on your clothes, getting in your car and going to work and avoiding the mess that you live in every day. You're living in it and you're working in it. So now's the time to get rid of it and set yourself up so that you really, really enjoy this experience as much as you possibly can. Because you have a clear space that you can call your own. Maybe you put a screen around you. If you have an office that you can close the door, you close the door. If you have a bedroom that you can rearrange the furniture and carve one little corner out of the room so that you have privacy, you do it. I'm not expecting that everybody has this wonderfully zen office that I'm sitting in right now. I get it. I've been working out of the home for 20 years. But you can create what you need in order to get work done. Hands down.
Now, I find when you take the commute out of it and all the visiting with coworkers over coffee, I can get a lot more done in a lot less time. But what I do struggle with a little bit is turning it off. I feel like there's always more work that can be done, and because it's just over there in the corner or in the in the next room, it's hard for me to turn it off. How do you turn it off and get back to your family life?
You got to put it on your calendar when your stop day is. You have to actually say, I'm working today until 6 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, I'm going to give my family time. And you set it up with your family that morning in the home team huddle. Hey guys, I'm going to end today at 6 o'clock, which means at 6 o'clock, kids, you can come in and grab me. I'm all yours. And let them plan something for you right when you get out of work that you actually have to go do because you committed to them. It's like honor your word. You're going to honor your word to your Zoom meetings because you're going to be there on time and you're going to have them. You're going to honor your word for your family when your work day is over. Look, I love what I do, so I don't consider what I do work. So I'm kind of always moseying back into my office after work hours or on the weekends. I don't mind doing it. I like carving a Saturday afternoon just to get a couple of things done. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you have a family, I don't have small kids in my house anymore. So when you have a family and you have to, and not just that you have to, that you want to spend time with them, it's really important that you set boundaries and you negotiate and then you honor your word.
All right, Wendy Ellen, productivity expert. The book is called Working from Home. How's that working for you? Where can people find that?
They can find that on wendyellen.com. You can either order a signed copy through my website that I ship to you directly after signing, or you can order it on Amazon.
Fantastic. Thanks for being on the Paul W. Smith Show.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, you too. Let's take a quick break on the show and check traffic and weather with our friend Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed delivers quality candidates, so you can focus on hiring the person who is a good fit. Claim your $75 credit for your first post at Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
Well, Kevin, that accident along 75 northbound at Clark Street, that is clear. Also in Lapeer, disabled vehicle out of your way along I-69 after M53. New accident just reported in Macomb, 94 westbound at Shook Road. That wreck is blocking the right shoulder. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. We keep the cold conditions this week, cloudy to start. Some peaks of sunshine this afternoon, less windy today, a high of 43. Tonight, cloudy skies. Could see a mixture of rain and wet snow possible, your low 32. We keep the cold for the rest of the week. Some peaks of sunshine, more of it on Tuesday, and a high of 37. Cloudy skies, 37 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in about 3 minutes.
Hi, folks. Craig Hubble, General Manager at Crestview Cadillac in Redmond. This is the month I want you. Your safety is our top priority here, and I have a ton of
you guys having a good time over there, Dave.
You know, it's funny because I also have control of the StreamYard, so Danielle isn't used to. So she'll pull it out. I'll put it at the same time, and it's almost like we're battling each other.
Call us now, CSI Rochester or at CrescentCadillac.com.
I'm Dr. Walchek, founder of the Michigan Center for Fertility and Women's Health. If you or someone you know is struggling with infertility, we can help with offices in Warren, Lake Orion.
My mom is also she works from home, and she has her challenges, but she does pretty good.
Hey, Michigan, online
with her job.
Yeah.
It's almost here. If you register your
I think if I think if you've done it for a while, you certainly get it down. My wife works from home and has for at least 15 years, and it's like 8:30 is a conference call. Nobody goes near there from 8:30 to 9:15. You know, and then she'll open the door and pop out and get a coffee. Everybody sort of gathers and figures out what's going on, and then she'll do that. She'll say, all right, here's my don't be back here hours. Doing the shows from home, it's like I'm like, all right, these 2 hours, or in this case 3.5, although most of it's in the morning. I'm like, the dog, the kids, everybody on the other side of the house, but which works great. But earlier, the Wi-Fi, I had to get a Wi-Fi booster extender, and I got a better modem. But before, I had to go into the middle of the house to be as close to the modem as possible. So everyone was kind of locked in their bedrooms until the shows were over.
So you're not plugged in to a cable. You're doing this off of Wi-Fi.
Yeah,
it's pretty good.
Yeah, I bought the new whatever the newest system is, and then I got an extender. It's pretty good.
Yeah, because I always would have my computer plugged in.
Yeah, I actually don't quite know how to do that. I'm sure it's not difficult, but if I were to do that, I'd be right smack in the middle of the house.
You could just run a long cord.
I guess.
That's what I have. I have a
2,000-foot cord,
75-foot Cat 5 cable that I'll run from
just plug it into the side. And
you have the router, so it has open slots.
Yeah,
you plug it into the router, and then I run it over to where I want to sit because and where I'm most comfortable and have the background that I want. So, but
I guess that's probably not a bad idea to have as a backup.
Yeah.
But I guess if the Wi-Fi's down, the Wi-Fi's down. I've had it go down twice. It's frustrating.
I remember I was working.
Yeah, the first time
you had to come in here.
Yeah. I thought I was going to be in there this morning. To be honest with you, we had the power went out around 9 o'clock last night. Then came back on. They had to get the Wi-Fi back on. I'm like, I don't have any idea. The wind was howling this morning.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, but we know that.
It's definitely probably better to make sure that you're always hardwired in, I guess, because you never know with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And how strong it'll be. The other thing I've been trying out is I have a pair of the AirPods too, but so I'll either use those or I'll use this and the microphone. But this seems to be works better. Sometimes the AirPods go out on me, and
yeah, that's my.
And then I lose it.
Yeah, I keep them here. I'll do it for Mitch's show because it's 2 hours, but this morning show's 3.5 hours. That's a long.
Yeah.
Individual workouts can continue.
And then once these, I mean, it's not like I'm moving around too much. So once these are set up, it's fine. But what gets me is I'll go from this to a Zoom call, and then the Zoom, I don't know, it shoots it into computer audio, and then I gotta go back to the settings. And if I'm doing it on a regular basis, I can remember where everything is. But if it's been a while since I've done the show, I'm like, where is that? Where are those buttons?
Right.
I have no tech support here.
Your tech supports yourself, right?
Yes. Well, my daughter, when she's home from school, but she's gone, so I'll FaceTime her in a Panic or Ray. She's
going to be back soon, though, won't? And she's going to be back soon now.
Sounds like it. She'll be back for Thanksgiving and probably just stay home.
What Michigan State?
Kalamazoo College.
Kalamazoo College. Okay.
in the consumers.
It's her senior year. That's kind of a bummer for the kids too.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
freshmen and seniors. The middle two, I don't feel quite as bad, but
Yeah, I made a lot of driving to Kalamazoo. My brother, my youngest brother, went to Western.
I went to Western as well. So I really enjoy going to visit my daughter because I can kick around Western as well while I'm up there.
A lot of trips to the West Edge exit.
Yes, I worked at Wider Radio at the station, WIDR, Wider All Nighter.
Okay.
I did news, rip and read, and then I was the sports director and did play-by-play for women's basketball, volleyball, and men's football.
Do we have any tape that we can pull up of this?
I hope not. I was man. I was a nervous reader. Sports, I was okay. You know, I had a call-in show. It seemed fine, and I had an expert, Dave. His name was Dave, and he knew everything. Like, so I could just someone would call in, and I could just say, "Well, Dave, why don't you take that one?" You know,
right?
But with news, I'd get going. I'd hold you'd have that printed AP copy. Was there were really no computers, and you'd just be like,
right? Yeah, for sure. I also worked at I worked at the high school radio station.
I did not.
My first interview that I ever did in my entire life was Ernie Harwell.
Wow!
After he got fired.
Wow, that's really good.
I tracked him down at a church, and he actually talked to me, and yeah, it was cool.
Did other outlets use it?
I don't think so. I think it was just for our high school. You probably couldn't hear that station outside of the park.
Oh no, I know. Yeah,
but I recently came across my senior video when I was a senior in high school, and there's some video of me doing play-by-play for the seniors versus the teachers basketball game.
Oh, really?
That was pretty funny to watch.
I wish I had learned. Yeah, I wish I had learned to. I wish I had done it in grade school, in high school, and called the basketball games or the whatever football games. That would have been actually fun to do in high school.
Yeah, I called a lot of boring sports in high school.
I was going to be a dentist when I was in high school.
Really?
Yeah.
One of my jobs when I was in high school was I worked for an orthodontist, and I used to make the study models.
Okay.
After they took the impressions of your teeth before you were going to get braces.
Yeah.
And I used to grind the models. My friend worked in the lab for the doctor, and he had a side business.
829-0773. That's 313-829-0773.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Tens of thousands of Trump supporters marched on Washington Saturday in support of Donald Trump's efforts to fight the results of the election. As part of that effort, there's a term going around called hammer and scorecard. And to talk a little bit about that and the election in general is our friend Dennis Darnoy, political consultant. Dennis, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
So what was your initial take on the amount of people and the excitement and energy they had on the march on Saturday?
Well, obviously it was a little bit less than the numbers being thrown out by Trump's press secretary. But I mean, he received over 71 million votes nationally, and there are a lot of people who still support him and who still follow his every word. So they're out there supporting their candidate, and certainly believe that he's going to get their support all the way through January 20th, if not beyond.
Yeah, it seems like every time a lawsuit's filed, the media immediately says there's nothing to it, and in some cases lawsuits are thrown out because there was no merit to the case. But how do you feel about the need to examine the allegations for the country to come together and move forward?
I mean, there's definitely an argument that says the entire process should play out. I think the issue that a lot of people find is, of the 15 lawsuits that the president or his campaign has filed, only one right now has had any success whatsoever. And a number of them are incredibly frivolous and have no actual factual support behind it. So it's not so much whether or not someone should challenge the results when there is demonstrable proof or evidence. But, a lot of these claims are coming off of hearsay. And even Trump's lawyers at certain points have had to admit in court that they don't have the evidence to support the claims that they're making. So, I understand where a lot of people say, hey, this process needs to play out and let's see if there's anything to these claims. But again, some of the claims that they're actually making in their lawsuits have no basis in fact or reality and aren't supported with any real evidence. And I think that's getting to where some people are getting frustrated with it.
Donald Trump tweeted out this weekend that the real legal challenge is yet to be filed and it's coming soon, and it will test the constitutionality of the election. I don't know if that's referencing this term hammer and scorecard or not, but can you help our audience understand what hammer and scorecard means?
Sure. So there is a theory on the far right that says there is a government supercomputer called Hammer, HAMR, which runs a program called Scorecard, and it has the ability to alternate, switch, or delete votes that have been cast. The individual who has put that out there, in the internet, is one who has a very checkered past, one who has been made similar claims more on the state level, especially out in Arizona, Maricopa County, and all of it's been proven to be false. But there was a situation, obviously we had the one out here in Antrim, but there was also a situation on where there seems to be proof from a CNN video that votes in Pennsylvania were changed. And so a lot of people, again, that was proven to be false, but a lot of people have hung their hopes or their arguments about this supercomputer and program. It does even actually extend back to 2012, where some people feel that Obama used this computer and program to steal the election in 2012. No one who's positive this theory has, been able to explain then why it wasn't used in 2016 for Hillary Clinton to help sway the election in her direction. But that is the thought, or that is the idea, that there's a supercomputer that runs this program, which has the ability to alter votes that were cast.
And my understanding is that this hammer and scorecard is like a CIA-run operation. It's not this Dominion, which is a real voting system that was used. I think Dominion was the one that had the problems in Antrim County here in Michigan, which were picked up right away. But also Dominion's used in multiple states. Those are two different issues. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. You are correct. That Dominion is an election tech firm that is used nationally, and yes, they are the ones who are tied to the situation in Antrim. The Hammer and Scorecard is supposedly part of a government and CIA program that is used. Yes.
Now, when people talk about Dominion, you'll hear the media right away say that there's no evidence of widespread fraud. How do they know that without doing an audit? How does the media know already that there's no evidence? Is that based on what they're hearing from the officials on the scene? And would the officials on the scene know if the computer was faulty or not?
Well, so for example, in the case of Antrim, that was quickly identified as human error. And for those that don't know, Antrim is a county here in Michigan that is incredibly Republican. I can't even remember if a Democrat won or when the last time a Democrat won. But early on in the election, Antrim County came up as a county that Biden won here in Michigan. And so that raised a lot of alarms and a lot of questions. But as it turned out, a clerk had entered in the information incorrectly into the Dominion system. And then once that was immediately realized, it was changed back, and Donald Trump won Antrim, pretty handily. So I think when people, or the media, as you would say, are saying, hey, there isn't any there, a lot of it is people who are reporting from the ground saying, no, we found the human error in these issues.
So do you think they would be able to check in, say, Detroit if human error was there now, where someplace where you didn't expect the results, where you expect the results would be, but maybe have more votes?
Yeah, I mean, you do have a human, a system to check on human error, a backup system that would allow you to look into these votes and say, is there something there, or, oh, hey, this is where the mistake occurred, and rectify that mistake.
All right, Dennis Darno, I appreciate your insight. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me. Have a good day.
All right, you bet. Let's check traffic with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
94 westbound at Shook Road, a wreck is blocking the right shoulder. Also in Southgate, downriver, accident still working to clear 4th Street at Pennsylvania Road. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
Now it's starting to feel like fall. A gusty northwest wind around today, gusting 30 to maybe 40 miles an hour. The clouds give way to a partly cloudy day. So a little bit more sun as the day goes on, 44. Clouds will give way to a clear sky tonight. Maybe a rain or snow shower early, 32. Clouds and sun tomorrow, northwest breeze and high of 37. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray staging on News Talk 760 WJR.
Hello, I'm John Ezzo, president and founder.
Or visit newimagebldg.com.
Your next guest is ready to go after the break, Kevin.
All right, and it's John Ezzo.
You got it.
Thank you.
And public entities work together to advance the
There you
future
go.
of mobility technology along a challenging course. Working together has been the key to staying on the right path. So whether you're just getting started or already an industry leader, Planet M is your connection to Michigan's mobility ecosystem and our future. If you're ready to make a move with your business, see how we can help at planetam.com/pure-partnership.
Welcome to Spotlight on
So according to USA Today, the second COVID-19 vaccine works as well as the first. 94.5% effective.
That's even better.
Moderna candidate.
So did you buy stock in them?
No, but I will say my brother Eric told me that he has done pretty well with I don't know if you're familiar with Chewy.com.
No.
Chewy.com is like dog food, pet supplies, whatever. He said that he at the beginning of the pandemic he bought some stock in Chewy.com and it's gone up like 60% because everybody went out and got a dog.
Right. That's pretty smart.
So yeah,
I think there's a lot of things like that. I know real estate speculators are finding houses with more property, things like that. Up north property, things like that.
So apparently also in USA Today it says that Costco's face mask policy update requires all shoppers to wear mask or shield. I thought that you were already required to do that. But I guess Costco says they will no longer make an exception for people who say they can't wear a face mask covering because of a medical condition.
Oh, yeah, that was a rule. You could, with medical, you could do that.
So that goes into effect on Monday. Interesting.
Yeah. Do you just have masks everywhere now? Like these reader glasses for us old people, we just keep them everywhere. It's like mask in the glove box, mask in each of your coat pockets, masks.
Yes, and I lost one of my masks, and it was a 3-pack, and I don't know what happened to it. So I need to get some more. I'm wondering if maybe I should start going with disposable masks so that you don't have to deal with washing the masks.
Yeah, I don't. Clearly, some of them work better than others.
Maybe I'll start wearing a face shield.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I've seen those. Plus, you know what else what happened yesterday that not a lot of people are talking about is there was the SpaceX launch.
I know. We'll do that tomorrow. I'll call one of my guys and see if we can get him on.
4 astronauts went into space yesterday. Right, it was like late. It was like maybe about the same time that the governor was doing her press conference.
Yeah, I'll see if I can track down Gavin Brown.
So for all you do,
Aerospace Manufacturers
natural gas is
Association.
there for you. Find out more at dteenergy.com. DTE.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again, substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services restrictions effective Wednesday include in-person work is only allowed when doing that work remotely is not possible. That means there'll be more working from home coming up over the next 3 weeks, which means there'll be a lot of cleaning going on at your workspaces. And that has changed a lot this year in 2020. Joining us now is our guest, John Izzo, president and founder of New Image Building Services. John, thanks for being on the show.
Kevin, thanks for having me.
So tell us a little bit about how this has evolved since COVID-19, the whole process of, office cleaning. You think back, to the day, you think about maybe your waste paper basket would get cleaned and some vacuuming would be done and some things like that. But it's a whole new world out there, isn't it?
Yes. The biggest way it's changed is that, before it was, we would come in at night and get the job done, and it was best not to be seen. Now, the folks that are working in their offices want to see visible disinfection and cleaning happening. So it's been a big shift in our scopes of work and our schedules, and that providing proactive disinfection is what's keeping these facilities safe.
And what makes people feel more comfortable about being in the office setting? What are the kinds of things that you do that are visible that make people feel better?
Cleaning of touch points during the day. So your lobby entrances, doors, elevator panels, kitchenettes where someone would go to obtain their coffee. And then we're doing a deep clean and disinfection of all the workstations in many of our customers' facilities once or twice a week, which is a whole different level of service than what was delivered prior to COVID.
And I know that some businesses have to stay open all the time, whether there's shutdowns or not. How does that different? And when it's 24-hour a day, like, hospitals or places that are open, police stations, places that are open all the time, how does that work for you guys?
Well, we've had to increase our presence and our scope of work to be there at all times that the building is occupied, to provide that continual disinfection of touch points and that visible presence so the people know that it's being done. And because there is no EPA-approved chemical that has any long-lasting infection control benefits, it's just you have to identify the areas of exposure and provide continual coverage of those areas.
So has there been a lot of training for your employees, and is there training for the people who work in the spaces that you guys sanitize?
Yes. Training, the need for training has dramatically increased during the pandemic, and there hasn't been a whole lot of good sources for it. We've actually created our own training videos with some of our own teams using the recommendations from the CDC and the chemical manufacturers that manufacture our disinfectants and so forth. And then our customers have done a lot of training of their employees in the buildings about how to enter and exit, how to social distance, and letting them know about the different scopes of work that we're doing to keep them safe. So there's been a lot of communication and a lot of training.
And what are just some of those things? You come into a building and you go to reach for the door handle, and right away you don't know how many people have touched that door handle. Do you try and use a glove or a paper towel to open the door? Do you just wash your hands immediately after touching a common surface like that?
Yeah, our best advice is, we are providing continual disinfection of those surfaces, but our advice is to continue washing your hands is the preferred choice, and when you can't wash your hands, to use the hand sanitizers.
And what about things like shared computers and other equipment that is in the office? How do you wait and have it cleaned once a day, or do you try and clean it as you go? How do you work with employees on shared equipment?
I think in our experience with our customers, there's no more sharing of equipment now. There's no more hoteling in these offices of using shared equipment. And then, like I said, in most of our customers' facilities, we're providing a deep clean and disinfection of those surfaces 2 times a week, and it seems to be controlling the spread. And then the other thing is working with you asked about training, is we've worked with our clients to develop protocols for when there is a confirmed COVID case in a facility. What is the protocol for remediation to make everybody feel comfortable to return to that space once that is completed?
Have you seen a lot of companies or clients that you have change their build out, change their the way their office settings are set up?
Yes, it's a good time to be in the space planning business and move business. Yes, we have seen our customers distance their folks. We've seen a lot of installation of the plexiglass barriers between desks to provide more protection. It's been a very interesting time, and I'm sure it will continue as office designs will change to provide more distance. Where offices prior to COVID, the trend was very open and very dense. Now more private spaces and more protection.
People talk about, a vaccine is coming and there's light at the end of the tunnel. Maybe by the spring we'll be through this COVID-19. Do you think that we've changed the way we clean and sanitize our workspaces permanently? Do you think that will stay with us long beyond COVID-19?
I do believe so. I believe that COVID has taught us that it is important to have more comprehensive cleaning and disinfection of facilities that are being used publicly and by employees. And I think that will be appreciated long term. And we look forward to that.
And how important is like temperature checks at work? Because we know we have the social distancing, we know we have the masks, we know we have the sanitizers. Are you seeing a lot more temperature stations?
Yes, our clients that are open are requiring that type of access control. I think it's a great idea, and it appears to be working because the outbreaks or the cases of a confirmed COVID case in these facilities has dramatically decreased. So I would say that that's an effective access control measure.
All right, John Izzo, President and Founder of New Image Building Services. Thanks for joining us and helping our listeners learn how to protect themselves at the office and know that when they work at a place you're with, that you are helping protect them as well. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Kevin. Have a great day.
All right, yeah, have a great week. We're going to take a little break here. We'll be back in just a bit. Let's check traffic and weather now with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty this Christmas, things are desperate. Bring joy to a child when you make your special year-end gift to Compassion International. Just text GIFT to 83393. That's GIFT to 83393.
Fallen power cables in Lapeer has Van Dyke shut down both directions at Armstrong Road. You may encounter fallen power cables as you travel also down trees, so avoid those areas if you can and call DTE to report problems. Van Dyke southbound at 8 Mile in Warren. The right lane is closed for construction until 3 p.m. Earlier accident at 94 westbound at Shook blocks the right shoulder. Now WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Cloudy start, less windy conditions today, but still seeing winds out of the west at least 15 miles per hour this morning. Some partial sunshine this afternoon, a high of 43. Tonight, cloudy skies could get a rain snow mix overnight, your low 32. Partly cloudy skies on Tuesday and a high of 37. We are currently looking at cloudy conditions. Let's get that updated temperature. Current temperature still 37 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in about 2 minutes.
Time to get your fix of Lions news.
Probably going to be a little easier to navigate following the Lions' 30-27 win. Oh, it was dramatic over that Washington football team. Thank you, Matt Prater. 59-yard field goal to win it. So there you have it.
So another interesting story, Kev, that I found is that today the United States Postal Service launches their Operation Santa.
Oh, nice.
With a new digital letter adoption. I'm kind of reading through it. I'm not familiar with the adoption process of a letter.
It probably means you respond. You probably volunteer to return to answer the letter, maybe?
It says that the Postal Service is encouraging little ones to send in the snail mail letters starting Monday through December 15th. And for the first time ever, the letter adoption process is all digital. And nationwide, if you live in Key West, Florida, you can log on and adopt a letter from Portland, Oregon.
$500,000 mega prize. Go to PCH.com before it's too late. That's PCH.
Interesting. Fun.
Better hurry.
Yeah.
Enter at PCH.
We're still having Christmas, right? 2020 can't take away Christmas.
I hope.
Is the cost of finishing the basement worth the benefit of some?
I mean,
when questions find you, Merrill Edge
I know that the 75-foot Christmas tree that they're putting in Rockefeller Center has arrived, so they'll be doing Christmas.
No tree lighting though.
No.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, registered broker.
Have you ever been to that?
No.
That's really cool.
been to New
The
York
tree
a
is
couple
the tree's amazing.
I've been to New York a couple times in my life, but not for that.
Is it just me?
Seems like it'd be fun.
WJR Detroit and WTVP HD2 Detroit. The great voice of the Great Lakes. 760 WJR, where Detroit comes to talk.
The biotech company Moderna announcing its COVID-19 vaccine could be up to 94% effective. The news comes a week after Pfizer announced that its vaccine could be about 90% effective, plus based on a similar phase 3 trial. Moderna isn't ready to roll out its vaccine and mass immunization campaign yet. The company first will need to ask the Food and Drug Administration for
It
could provide a double dose of protection.
Looks like your next guest is ready to go there.
All right.
Or if they get infected, they're less likely to shed the virus. And the vaccines have become very important tools for.
I'll be interested to see what he has to say about restaurants.
Prevent you from getting symptomatic disease. They also prevent you.
It's going to be tough, man. There's no there's no PPP money. There's no stimulus.
I know. And eating outside is only going to work for so long before it becomes too cold.
It's not working for me at all. I'll be no eating outside for me.
Did you eat in? Did you go to restaurants during? Have you gone lately during this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're pretty clean. I mean, they maybe the first week or two they weren't so great at it, but they seem to have it down.
As an opportunity to meet the needs of the people.
Yeah,
of this
they're still going to be able to do carry out.
extend life-saving
It's just kind of going to go back to the way it was before for a little bit.
Does Danielle want to start with one of those Whitmer bites to just come right out of the?
Danielle, can you come out of the top of the hour before we get to the guest with another Gretchen Whitmer bite?
The only other one I have is Thanksgiving one. Is that okay?
The only one that she has that we haven't played yet is the Thanksgiving one.
Okay.
Okay.
Or you just play it. Yeah, just play it right at the top, right when they say my name.
Okay. Perfect. Yep. Thanks.
Thousands of homes and businesses are still without power in Michigan from Sunday.
You know how people just tune in at 5:30 and listen to us all the way till 9.
Of course.
As President Trump continues with post-election
Why would you ever change your way?
administration is calling for the transition process to begin.
Ron Klain, who will be Joe Biden's White House chief of staff, said on NBC's Meet the Press.
If the president's prepared,
Chewy is awesome. I'm gonna have to try Chewy. My dog is old though. I don't know if my dog can chewy anything.
Joe Biden president, not president. The American people did that.
Yeah, I mean, you can get food and toys and supplements and whatever else you might need for your dog
All that stuff.
or cat, whatever you might need for your pet.
Fish oil does not prevent heart problems, according to a study. At the
I see a story here that Kellyanne Conway's daughter auditioned for American Idol.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that must be for the new season that's coming up.
Airlines jetliners hit a brown bear while it landed in Alaska, killing the animal and causing damage to the plane. Nobody on the plane was
I'm not
injured.
watching it. They're not live.
Oil Market Update sponsored by Mother Waddles. Donate your car to Mother Waddles.
Not sure how they're going to do it. I know that The Voice, they've been doing recordings live, but with a virtual audience. And everybody who auditioned had to sit around and had to quarantine for 2 weeks before going and doing it. But it's going to be hard if shut down again for television and for movies and stuff like that. Everything's going to get pushed back again.
Right.
You had mentioned that Thanksgiving was such a big time to go see all these blockbuster movies that are always in the theaters, but all those movies have been pushed back to 2021.
Right. They probably didn't make very many.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what they might even have available. This is why we have to rely on like Netflix and Hulu and all the streaming services. They seem to just pump out new stuff all the time.
Right.
Something tells me they have hours and hours and hours of programming that they haven't even got to yet.
I don't know, man. There's so much out there. It's amazing. Content. Yeah. It's a good time to be in content business.
Yeah, for sure.
20 feet away. Don't touch anything near it. And keep kids and pets away, too. Yes, an outage is inconvenient. We can keep it safe. DTE. If your power
So you haven't been to a restaurant, so you're not going to necessarily miss it. You're going to still just do your normal everyday.
No, I've gone to restaurants. I've eaten out a lot. But yeah, so I'll miss it. But I also really enjoyed when everyone had to eat at home and the family was all hanging out. I like that too.
So the fumes won't come in. Read the manufacturer's safety instructions and follow them.
Yeah, that's true, Patrick. That's right. A lot of shows have done that.
DTE. 2020 took a different.
A lot of shows have done like WWE.
Yeah.
Who's been just going on through this whole thing, doing their thing.
The future of mobility technology along a challenging course. Working together has been the key to staying on the right path. So whether you're just getting started or already an industry leader, Planet M is your connection to Michigan's mobility ecosystem and our future. If you're ready to make a move with your business, see how we can help at planetm.com/pure-partnership.
Tune into the Rich Paul Show, Saturdays at 9 a.m., Mondays
7 p.m. this week on the program, Opposite and Equal Reactions and a Trip to the Financial Doctor. So tune in to the Rich Paul Show here on WJR, Saturdays at 9 a.m., Mondays at 7 p.m.
From the great voice of the Great Lakes, this is Paul W. Smith on WJR with Kevin Dietz filling in for Paul.
I want to talk about Thanksgiving, which is next week. If you are considering spending Thanksgiving with people outside of your household, I urge you to reconsider. As hard as this is, we all need to make short-term sacrifices for a long-term gain in health and happiness. And I hate to say it, but we know that some people will gather anyway. And odds are that some of these gatherings will spread COVID and contribute to the loss of loved ones. It's just the hard, sad reality of this virus.
You will not be having your Thanksgiving dinner at a restaurant this year, not in 2020. Dine-in service at bars and restaurants is prohibited as of Wednesday. Outdoor dining is still allowed if you want to be outdoors in November in Michigan. The Michigan Department of Health and Human Services says the restrictions will last for 3 weeks and will save lives. It will also put some restaurant owners out of business. Good morning. It is Monday, November the 16th. Thanks for joining us on WJR, where Detroit comes to talk. And joining us now is Michigan Restaurant Lodging Association President and CEO Justin Winslow. Justin, thanks for being on the show this morning.
Good morning, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. How does this news hit you and the folks you represent?
The hits just keep coming in 2020. It's obviously a hard and dark day for the restaurant industry. It's been a challenging year from start to finish. This news is particularly hard because it's coming without any brackets of federal support or frankly even state support. We're shutting down an industry for the second time this year, but there's no stimulus dollars right now, right? And so I feel like you and I could go back and forth. I could probably spend the entirety of this interview talking about sort of the lack of clear data of restaurants as transmission agents, and that's a problem when we consider what the impact of closing this industry is going to be. I mean, we think 250,000 people will be laid off in the coming weeks from this industry with little safety net for themselves. 6,000 operators are likely to close between now and let's say the end of this year, because when there's zero income coming or very little income coming in, there just isn't a wherewithal for this industry, especially after what it's been through this year, to deal with much more. But listen, we've got some great news today with the Moderna vaccine. And so you see that clear light at the end of the tunnel. What we need is a bridge, and we need some federal and some state, frankly, support in the short term to get us there. So you're not hearing me coming on your show and shows like yours where I just talk about how hard it is for the restaurant industry right now. I think we really need to come together, Republicans, Democrats alike in DC, and get a stimulus budget done now, or stimulus deal done now. I know that feels politically inconvenient for some of our elected officials. It just has to happen. Michigan is no longer alone. There are several states that have closed down restaurants, and the drag on the overall economy, those who work in it and those who have businesses, and it will be tremendous nationally if we don't really find a solution very quickly on that front.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly easy to pick lives over livelihood. It's a tough choice, and you want people to be safe, and you don't want COVID to keep spreading and the death numbers to go up. At the same time, you say 250,000 people are going to lose their jobs. The first time around, there was some money to get them through that. Now, when they close down Wednesday, that's likely to be it. There won't be any money coming in. It's going to be a very different feel for those employees and for owners as well. Without any PPP money coming in, the decisions on whether to shut down, maybe not permanently, but for quite a while, they may have to just decide to do that.
Yeah, 40% of our members are saying, we pulled this a couple of weeks ago, just knowing that the fall was starting to trend in an unpleasant way, and so we could better understand what outcomes we would expect. 40% of restaurants said they would close temporarily, while there was a shutdown, and about 11.5–12% of them said they would just close permanently. That they're too close to the edge right now, so they would just shut it down permanently. So that's what we know internally right now. What's to come on the restaurant side. But again, I think there's a way to minimize some of this damage with some short-term stimulus, and it does not have to be a multi-trillion-dollar package. I think when we see a clear pathway to a more normal-looking economy in the not-too-distant future, but it does need to come quick. And at the state level, we still have a few days of what we call lame duck session. We're hopeful to try to get a sales tax holiday, for example, for this industry to incentivize carryout from the restaurant right now, or some property tax relief, or even some income tax relief. And we're confident that the governor would support us and support the industry in getting some of that stuff done before the end of the year.
In the first wave, if you will, some 2,000 restaurants closed their doors permanently in Michigan. What is the difference between those who were able to hang on and those who weren't? And what can we do to keep as many as possible to hang on through this second wave?
Yeah, it's quite simply liquidity, right? The the cash flow that they had available to them. We lost 1,000 of them quite quickly when there was a shutdown. It's because that's the nature of this industry. It's a 5% or less profit industry, and many didn't have the wherewithal to last very long. But then federal stimulus kept people afloat. A fairly successful, in relation to 2020 anyway, summer for this industry kept a lot of people afloat and slowed that closure rate. And then we hit the fall and things have gotten ugly, and now it's real ugly with the closure again.
So to-go orders isn't going to do it for these restaurants. We need lawmakers to step up and provide some sort of stimulus or funding for us for the next, until the vaccine hits.
We encourage both.
All right. Justin Winslow, thanks for joining us on the Paul W. Smith Show. We appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, Kevin.
All right. We'll be back with more of the Paul W. Smith Show. Right now, we're going to check traffic and weather with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by the Exergen Temporal Scanner. These may be uncertain times, but what is certain is that every family needs a reliable thermometer. Protect your family with the Exergen Temporal Scanner, the only home thermometer used and recommended by hospitals, physicians, and clinics. Stay safe with Exergen.
Checking the roadways, Kevin, looks like Van Dyke southbound at 8 Mile. That construction is blocking the right lane until 3 p.m. on Monday. Earlier accident in Macomb, 94 westbound at Shook Road blocks the right shoulder. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
Little breeze around, adding a little bite to the air this morning. Winds are gusting 30-plus miles an hour at times. The clouds give way to partial clouds and sunshine, especially by this afternoon. A chilly 44. Overnight tonight, a rain or snow shower early, then we'll clear it out. 32. Suburbs a little colder. Tuesday, a mix of clouds and sunshine, a gusty northwest wind, and a high of 37. From the Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray staging on News Talk 760 WJR.
Disagree. I've had an incredible, blessed life, but you know what? I've lived it publicly, so we know it's had its ups and downs. My life was full of pain until I came to Pain-Free Life Centers in Troy. No injections, no needles.
So, Kev, did you see the story
no side effects. Just
about the Florida Marlins?
No, what happened there?
They hired the first female general manager.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's her background? Does it say that?
She worked with, I think she worked like in the corporate offices of Major League Baseball. I think she comes from there. That was a pretty big story that came out last week.
Not your last resort.
How big a place the analytics now plays in baseball.
Yeah,
all sports, but especially in baseball.
I think I'll call Frank.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of that. I know a lot of colleges with their athletic directors are looking at that. Lots and lots of female presidents at colleges and athletic directors are starting to pop up. The NFL could certainly use some more female voices.
They've got a couple strength and conditioning and a couple coaches that are female on some NFL teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they've got some female referees too now. Also,
are you a fan of the announcers?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think they all do a good job.
Did you listen to the Lions announcer yesterday? It was his first day or his first game.
Well, of course, you know who that is.
That was great.
That was Aqib Talib.
Yeah, it was just really fun.
How did he do?
I thought he was fun. It's how everybody in the business can get so polished and so and they're all unique and everybody likes who they like. But he just sounded like a fan, a former player. It was not a bunch of phrases and stuff. He was just calling it like he saw it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was refreshing.
They interviewed him during the pregame show.
Okay.
Yeah, well, of course, obviously, I don't know if you know, I'm a giant Denver Broncos fan. So
yeah,
he played for the Broncos, during when they won their last Super Bowl.
Okay.
So very familiar with Aqib Talib's work. And he was saying in the pregame show with Dan and Lomas that he had gotten some phone calls from Belichick and the Patriots, the Saints, to come out of retirement and to play this year because they needed players. and he said he was he was retired and it was done. He wanted to spend time with his family. His daughter finally moved back in with him, and so he decided, even though he got like 3 or 4 teams calling him to come back to play, he decided he was going to stay retired.
Okay.
And now he's working for Fox.
Yeah, I was. I enjoyed it. I really did. I thought it was good. That's not it's not easy job. I mean, but,
I think that
he was kind of a fan. You know, he was like he was a fan and an announcer and a former player, so he had all the knowledge. I mean, he knew all the guys, he knew all the coaches. He played with a lot of them.
Yeah, there are many former players that do very well, like Troy Aikman. He does a nice job with Joe Buck. I think Tony Romo does a nice job with Jim.
He took out, right? Tony Romo just got hot, right? Like people really kind of fell in love with him quickly.
Yeah, he got to take yesterday off because Nance was doing the Masters.
Okay.
So the CBS had a different lead team for their games.
Did Tirico do the Masters?
No, it was CBS.
Oh, okay.
Tirico's with NBC now.
You know, some people cross over for big games, right?
Yeah,
like,
they did have ESPN, though. They like Scott Van Pelt there.
9 a.m. Mondays at 7 p.m. This week on the program, opposite equal reactions and a trip to the financial. Tune in to the Rich Paul Show here on WJR, Saturdays at 9 a.m., Mondays at 7 p.m.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
President Donald Trump tweeted, "Many of the court cases being filed all over the country are not ours, but rather those of people that have seen horrible abuses. Our big cases showing the unconstitutionality of the 2020 election and the outrage of things that were done to change the outcome will soon be filed." Following a lot of the lawsuits around the country and here in Michigan is our friend Paul Egan with the Detroit Free Press. He joins us now on the Paul W. Smith Show. Paul, thanks for being on the show.
Good morning, Kevin.
How are you doing today?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. I worry about you. There's so much going on between Lansing and the elections and COVID. You reporters are just doing an amazing job at the Free Press. The news just keeps coming, and you guys are able to stay on top of it, and we appreciate it.
Thanks. It's an exciting time to be working in the media right now.
Yes, for sure. So tell us about the lawsuits. I read your story, and a lot of it is about how the lawsuits that have been filed so far have not been very well prepared or are not holding up very well. Is the president right? Are these his lawsuits from his people, or are these lawsuits from the party or from other people? How is it? What are you seeing in the courts?
Well, we wrote about 5 lawsuits on Sunday filed in Michigan. Not a completely exhaustive list. There was at least one other that we didn't get into, but basically 3 of those were filed by the Trump campaign. 2 of them by other parties, filed on behalf of voters. So basically 3 of the 5 were filed by his campaign. Now, that was an interesting tweet that he made over the weekend that, that the real lawsuits are still to come. We'll have to see on that. At this point, it sounds a little similar to some of the comments he's made over time about unveiling a healthcare plan.
Yeah, we'll have to see what's going on there. I saw Rudy Giuliani over the weekend too, suggesting, that more is to come or the real stuff's to come. But on the other hand, when the election results come in and all of a sudden they're not where you think they are, they're not where they think they should be, and you have to file lawsuits, immediately you're going to, start to file things to slow things down or stop the counts or do what you can. But I imagine your team is working on, what is the ultimate legal strategy. So, obviously we'll have to wait and see what happens, but what we can look at is what has been filed so far and how it's holding up. What have you guys found of the 5 lawsuits that you've examined?
So far, he hasn't really had any legal victories in Michigan, and in a couple of the cases, one involving a suit by his campaign filed in state court. Basically the allegations were, at least the relief that he was requesting, which was a pause in the vote counting, was rejected by a judge, and it was basically on a couple of grounds that the allegations were hearsay, the judge said, and also they were asking for things. They were suing the Secretary of State and asking for some video surveillance of drop-off boxes in the Detroit area that were in the control only of local officials. So basically it was, this was a case where, as they say in legal terms, no relief can be granted because they basically were suing the wrong defendant. Kevin, just going back on a little bit on what you said earlier, I think there is sometimes among many people a sort of a knee-jerk reaction to say, there's no fraud, there shouldn't be any allegations like this. I certainly take the other view. If there is any fraud in the system, I think the public needs to know about it, wants to know about it. It is such a serious allegation that you would expect when people to come forward and make serious allegations that they be well documented, firsthand accounts. This is who told me to take this fraudulent action. And that's what we've been finding with a lot of the judges are saying, what we're getting is a lot of generalized statements. We're getting hearsay. We're getting, they didn't tell me, when this happened, precisely how it happened. The other thing that the judges are saying in a general sense is people misunderstanding state law and complaining about things that really weren't illegal, or they didn't understand what they were seeing. Judge Kenney, in dismissing a case on Friday, said, they offered to hold a walkthrough for these Republican challengers to familiarize them with the entire process and walk them through it. And the challengers that filed affidavits complaining about procedures, none of them had actually attended these walkthroughs. And the judge made the comment that if they had, they might have had a better understanding of what was going on and what they were seeing, because, longtime state election official who's now retired, Chris Thomas, but he's recognized as a national expert, he filed an affidavit that in many cases explained that what some of the people that were raising concerns, were seeing was not, they misunderstood what they were seeing or misunderstood state law. For example, where they said, they were telling us not to verify that this person was on the voter list. Well, this was at the absentee counting board. And so that step had already been taken at the clerk's office or election headquarters. That's one example where, people were complaining that it looked to them like a step was being overlooked when in fact, according to Thomas, it had already been taken elsewhere.
As a reporter, I've always liked lawsuits because they shed light on things we might not otherwise see, and they give us an opportunity to fix problems that may have existed for a long time and may never get fixed if there isn't some lawsuit that forces people to testify under oath as to what's going on in the world. And in this case, and I was a little surprised Michigan's had so much focus. Yes, it has 16 electoral votes, and that's a lot of votes, but the margin of victory seems pretty wide for Biden, but yet here they are in Michigan, and I guess it's because of the large number of affidavits that they were able to get signed. And affidavits are evidence, right? But then the court wants you to back it up with more than just somebody testifying to what they say or saw.
That's right, and they weigh, they weigh evidence and they weigh credibility. In the case of that case dismissed on Friday in Wayne County Circuit Court with Judge Kenney, he basically said, in the case of some of the affidavits, it didn't appear that what they were raising was a legitimate concern. There were a couple of, though, where he said, this testimony is outweighed by, a greater amount and other testimony that I find more credible, and basically, said that, basically judges weigh credibility in these cases as well.
Yeah, it seems to me like if something new is coming from the president, it's going to have to be a systemic problem that would toss out hundreds of thousands of mail-in votes. I haven't seen, obviously nothing like that has been filed yet, and we don't know if that's what he's talking about, but he has said that he believes millions of votes were illegal or wrongfully cast. So we'll have to watch if those come through Michigan or through the federal court system, but the suits are flowing in both federally and in the state, and we appreciate you keeping an eye on them, Paul.
Thanks a lot, Kevin.
All right. Have a great week, and we'll be following you in the Detroit Free Press. Right now, we're going to take a quick break on the Paul W. Smith Show and check in with Dana Clark for traffic.
This report is sponsored by Jets Pizza. Your local Jets Pizza is looking for the best of the best to join their team. Think you have the same Detroit-style hustle they pride themselves on? From delivery drivers to crew positions, visit your local Jets and apply to be a part of the coolest crew in Michigan. Jets, better because it has to be.
Traffic first sponsored by McLaren Health Plan. McLaren Health Plan is helping families stay healthy with coverage for virtual doctor visits, flu shots, and access to over 140 hospitals in Michigan. McLaren Health Plan, the right plan for right now. Learn more at mclarenplan.org. Accident 94 westbound at Shook. That earlier collision is clear. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by Guernsey Farms Dairy. Enjoy family and football all day and avoid the stress of cooking on Thanksgiving. Get a full traditional Thanksgiving meal this year from Guernsey's Farm Dairy Restaurant in Northville. Place your order. Carry out order today. Pick up on November 25th. Minimum order is 5 people, and it's only $15 a person. To order, visit GuernseyFarmsDairy.com. Cloud cover to start, less windy conditions, some peaks of sunshine this afternoon, a high of 43 tonight. Cloudy conditions could see a mixture of rain and wet snow overnight, your low 32. Cloudy skies, 37 degrees. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in 2 minutes.
This year, Michigan businesses have had to adapt, and the Michigan Economic is right there alongside them.
I don't know about you, Kevin, but I do not like hearing anything with wet snow in the forecast.
No, that is no fun at all. Not at all. I'm going to say something like, I could tell you about the Lions game, but it'd be more fun to hear the official call. So that Daniel has that minute.
So we're going to have Danielle just start with the cut coming out of the.
No, I'll just say a little something. I'll just say,
okay.
But it'll be real quick. I'll just say something real quick, then throw to the call, and then I'll bring in Steve. And
all right, because I already told Steve you were going to play at the call, so
I am going to, but I'll just say a little something like, "Hey, I could tell you about it, but it's better to just hear it. Take a listen."
Okay, perfect. That works out great. All right, I'll let Danielle know.
Him and Rich want to do something where they're like,
yeah, it's such a great call, especially with the back end of it, which is hilarious. Which is great.
That's awesome.
But it's supposed to be nice weather, like in the 60s on Thursday and Friday, right?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to swing back around.
So maybe we might be able to get another round of golf in.
Oh man, that would be fun. I'm amazed. I keep driving by these courses and I'm like, oh, there's a golfer, and then I keep going and they're everywhere. Like, very fun November for golfers in Michigan.
Yeah, I mean it's a little tough. I do have to admit I do like playing with a yellow golf ball. When it gets into the leaves, it's impossible to find.
You don't bring a spotter?
I wish. You know what? I love it. Sometimes when you go up north and they have 4 caddies.
Yeah.
Those are the greatest ever.
Yeah.
If you go play where did I
played right before the Ryder Cup, or I think I played Oakland Hills like the day before, the last day you could play, and they had spotters out there, and that was awesome. Just like throwing their hat down. I'm like, I'd never find that. And then, of course, with the rough as long as it is.
Yeah, I think I experienced it at the Heathers. The Heather.
Yeah.
They had 4 caddies.
That's nice.
And back then, that was one of my first trips up north. And one thing I learned quickly about playing golf up north is that you need to bring a lot of golf balls.
Yes.
Because, man, it was rough. But there also is nothing like playing golf up north either. It's just very cool.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
A little narrow for my game, but beautiful.
Yeah. Well, you watch the pros, and they play at these courses where there are trees, but there's always openings. They always seem to have an opening. Yeah. Down here, you hit it into the tree. You're lucky if you find the ball.
I actually just changed up my game where I hit to the fairway. I just take a little bit off of it. So I hit the fairway on most drives.
Okay. Well, that's boring. You don't get the full experience of the golf course.
I know, but It's very helpful at my age.
So are you saying you play old man golf now?
Not quite, but kind of.
Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
I literally try and get on in 3-in-1 putt is on a par 4.
Okay.
So I just try and get it as close as possible to the green in 2, so I can just.
There you go.
Me too.
And the scores go down.
Yeah, I bet. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get Dan on the phone.
Do better surveillance, diagnostic testing, but also increase our contact tracing force so that we can contain infection once we find it.
A national mask mandate is also expected. For now, coordination with President Trump's task force isn't possible until the General Services Administration allows communication toward a smooth transition. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Tens of thousands of homes and businesses are still without power in the Detroit area and in Michigan from Sunday's windstorm. SpaceX executed its second manned space launch. The liftoff represented the private company's first full mission following a 2-crew-member test flight that occurred a couple of months ago. The Lions struggled to hold on to any playoff hopes with this victory over Washington.
Snap, spot, kick away. It is up. He's got the distance. It is good. Yes. It is good, baby. Matt Prater sends it through for 59 yards out.
Dan Miller and Lomas Brown on WJR as the Lions eked out that 30-27 win. World Market Update sponsored by Mother Waddles. Donate your car to Mother Waddles. Help the poorest of the poor. Call 313-WADDLES. The latest news from the Moderna on their success in developing a vaccine, propelling the Dow Jones futures up 494. The overseas markets are up. I'm Dick Hafner, WJR News. More coming up with Kevin Dietz.
Elevate your tailgate with Rinaldi Sausage. Lions Radio News Talk 760 WJR has teamed up with Rinaldi Sausage again this football season to elevate your tailgate. You could win a gas tailgate grill along with Lions logoed party essentials, including camp chairs, coolers, bag toss, football, and a selection of Michigan-made Rinaldi Sausage. Elevate your tailgate to enter text keyword sausage to 800-359-0957. Official rules at WJR.com. Get in the game with #1 Michigan-made Rinaldi Sausage. Always fresh, never frozen.
More customers are calling Wallside Windows than ever before. Why? 2 words: customer satisfaction. It ends Wednesday, November 25th. Buy 1 Wallside window, get 1 free. There's no limit. With this sale, you can do your entire home for half the price. Plus 5 years, no interest, no down payment. We can do that.
We can do that.
We can do that. We are the factory. Wallside. Ends Wednesday. Schedule your safe home or virtual estimate today.
When you're diagnosed with something as serious as cancer, you can feel alone. That's why at the Henry Ford Cancer Institute, we're all for being at your side to guide you through every step of your journey. And we're all for doing it with an entire team specializing in your cancer, united to fight with you. From the first meeting, your team works as one to create a plan that's unique to you with the most advanced treatments available, because we're all for innovation through collaboration, especially when it brings the best doctors and technology together. We know the importance of personalized care and a team that understands what you're going through. That's why the Henry Ford Cancer Institute is all for delivering both, virtually or in person, in locations throughout Southeast and South Central Michigan. Henry Ford Health System, all for you. Learn more about our team-based approach to care at henryford.com/cancer.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
I could tell you what happened in the Lions game, but it is way more fun to let you hear the official call. Let's listen in.
Washington has no timeouts left. They can't freeze it. Here we go to win it at Ford Field. Time 27-27. 3 seconds to go. Mulebach to snap. Fox to hold. Here we go. Snap, spot, kick away. It is up. He's got the distance. It is good. Yes. It is good, baby. Matt Prater sends it through for 59 yards out, and the Lions are celebrating at midfield. How about that? Matthew Stafford got him into position. Matt Prater sends it home, and the Lions have won this game. Your final score, the Lions 30 and Washington 27. Low, it was a line drive, but it sailed right through. You can put your headset back on. You're still working, brother.
Yes, baby. Hey, it was all good, Dan. We needed that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Matt Prater sends it through. He's had his ups and downs this year. But that 59-yarder wins the game and ties the Lions franchise record that he already held. How about it? That's pretty cool.
How fun is that? Joining us now is Lions radio play-by-play announcer Dan Miller and our own Steve Courtney. Guys?
Yes, indeed there, Kev. Thank you very much. Hello again, my friends. Danny boy, at the end of the day, it was the typical obtain a 21-point lead, lose a 21-point lead, win it with a 59-yard field goal. Just all in a day's work. How are you, Danny?
I'm doing well, guys. Yeah, unfortunately, lately the typical thing has been having the lead, blowing the lead, and losing the game. At least they recovered to win the game this time. It is troubling that they again let a big lead get away. The nice thing in this league is you win the game, you go back to work, you figure out what you did wrong and try to get it right. And it's a lot easier to do that if you escaped with a win. And that's what they were able to do. So, love the win. Don't take anything away from that. But you do have to look at this and figure out why these leads keep disappearing offensively, defensively, special teams, whatever it is. You have to find a way to just put these teams away in the second half of games.
It was interesting. Late in the first quarter, they show Matthew Stafford getting some attention to that throwing hand. And apparently, Danny, it didn't really affect him. 276 yards to go along with those three scores. And, of course, he's able to orchestrate that final drive to put Matt Prater in a situation to win it. You're talking about a 1st and 10 at the 50 following the roughing the passer by Chase Young. Still no guarantee. 6 seconds left. You got Stafford to Marvin Jones. Down he goes. Prater comes in. Prater says he hit it fat too, Dan, but good enough, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it didn't have his normal arc on it that you see from a Prater kick. It was a bit of a knuckler because we were watching the pregame warm-ups, and we had seen him knock one in from 60. So you know he's got the range there. And I asked him after the game, and I think he said if it had been beyond that, he'd have still said, hey, give me a chance to go in there and knock it through. So I think probably if it's anywhere between, up to probably 63, 64 yards, they'd probably give him a shot at it just to see if he can do it. But, his numbers when you get into the final 2 minutes or overtime of a game are incredible. He hasn't missed a kick in his career. I mean, when he's had a chance to win a game or tie a game. And that's just amazing consistency. And look, I think everybody feels good about late game situations when Stafford's got the ball in his hands, came a whisker away from hitting Cephas with what would have been a game-winning touchdown bomb. Right. And then they did catch a break with the penalty against Washington, but it was pretty clear Washington caught a couple of breaks with the penalties before that. So, it's nice to see one go our way every once in a while. But, just everybody, Matt Patricia talks about situational football, everybody handling situational football very well there at the end of the game on that drive.
And something huge for this Lions team, Dan, that being a home win. 385 days in the making, 0-3 going into this till they lost their previous 7. If you've got postseason aspirations, you've got to take care of the home field.
Yeah, you do. And that's, look, I mean, in this league, if you can win 6 of your 8 at home and then you find a way to go 3-5 or 4-4 on the road, that's 9-10 wins that gets you in the playoff. And that's how most teams do it. They find a way to just really take care of the home schedule. Look, it's a lot different now, Steve. We know that. Home field advantage is basically gone. There's a comfort level to being there. You haven't had to get on a plane or travel, but there's not 65,000 people going nuts there. That's not an excuse. That's all around the league. That's for everybody. They have to play better overall and win games on the road, win games at home, all those things. But it's just, it's a different dynamic now, man, than when teams have to worry about noise, taking them out of their normal rhythm and function and things like that. So home field isn't what it used to be, but your point's well taken. This is your house. You want to protect it regardless of who's in there with you.
Well, you know what? I'm so happy that the Lions get a W, Danny. But Alex Smith, let's talk about him for a second. 390 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. He was under duress a little bit during this tilt. That was a good sign for this Lions defense. Romeo Okwara with his 6th sack of the season. Everson Griffin registers his 1st sack as a Detroit Lion. Again, I'm very happy that the Lions won, but I know so many will be rooting for Alex Smith as this season unfolds.
Yeah, and it's an incredible story, and I think most people have seen the ESPN piece that chronicled his injury, the many surgeries, the fact that he almost lost his leg, the fact that he almost lost his life, all those things, and to come all the way back, not just return to function and be able to live your life with your family, but to play football again, mind-boggling. And yeah, absolutely, hats off to him. Nothing but courage, guts, and dedication.
All right. As we approach the Carolina Panthers on the road, they fall, by the way, to the Bucs yesterday. They're a 3-17. They've lost 4 straight. Something tells me DeAndre Swift will be the lead back. What a performance by him, quickly, Danny.
He was terrific. I think we've talked about it a lot. He's the most explosive player they've got. Get the ball in his hands as much as you can.
All right, my friend. Great call, as always. Dan Miller, the voice, joining us here on the Paul W. Smith Show. Danny, thank you.
Always fun, guys. Thank you.
All right, Kev.
All right, Steve. Thanks, Dan Miller. What a call. That was so fun to watch. Just a lot of fun to see the Lions win it on a last-second kick. Let's check traffic now with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Jets Pizza. Your local Jets Pizza is looking for the best of the best to join their team. Think you have the same Detroit-style hustle they pride themselves on? From delivery drivers to crew positions, visit your local Jets and apply to be a part of the coolest crew in Michigan. Jets, better because it has to be.
Traffic first sponsored by Ribas Fudge Shop. Make Ribas your one-stop shop for all your business and corporate gifts. Appreciate, thank, and impress your clients, employees, colleagues, vendors, and loved ones with a gift box of creamy, delicious Mackinac Island fudge. Visit ryba.com to complete your shopping today. 75 southbound at Big Beaver earlier on-ramp has reopened. It was closed. Also seeing construction Van Dyke southbound at 8 Mile in Warren shut down until 3 p.m. That right lane is taken away. Now, WJR Weather First from the Weather Channel, sponsored by McLaren Health Plan. McLaren Health Plan is helping families stay healthy with coverage for virtual doctor visits, flu shots, and access to over 140 hospitals in Michigan. McLaren Health Plan, the right plan for right now. Learn more at McLarenHealthPlan.org.
Some chillier weather in today on a west breeze. Gusty winds this morning. The clouds give way to a partly cloudy day today, so more sun as the day goes on. A high of 44 later. Still gusty wind over 40 miles an hour. Tonight we will clear out. Maybe a little rain or snow early, 32. Cloud sun tomorrow with a high of only 37. Still a gusty northwest breeze. From a Weather Channel meteorologist Ray Staging on News Talk 760 WJR.
Clean energy isn't a buzzword. It's a commitment to our
planet. It's up to all of us to do our
Great call, huh, Kev?
Yeah, that was awesome. Put the headsets back on. You're not done working.
Clean, affordable energy to our community.
Almost got so excited.
Join them by choosing to use energy
So hilarious.
sustainably. Learn more about practical clean energy solutions at mycleanenergy.com.
Dan does a good job.
Mycleanenergy.com.
Yeah, for sure.
You can count on consumers' energy.
Due to the coronavirus, our phones are ringing off the hook with buyers who want a larger kitchen, a new
Well, next week, potential for the Kitchen 500. So there you go.
Give me a call.
Yeah.
But don't just take it from me.
Hi, this is Mike Craig from Brighton, Michigan.
And with Carolina's quarterback, their starting quarterback in question right now because he got hurt. So.
That's money.
Yeah, well, the NFL's tough, man.
It is.
It's hard to predict. How about Vegas having the line be Lions by 3? You know, they just knew that they were going to come back and score 21 straight unanswered points.
They know, man. I always wonder. First of all, that would be the greatest job ever to be an odds maker, in my opinion. The question is it like the old school odds makers these days that used to do it, or is it all computers and algorithms and economics majors and analytics majors now that do it, or is it a combination of both?
Probably a computer.
I mean, that would be a great. I would love to work at a sports book and just be an odds maker.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
I got a friend, or my son's friend. They graduated together. He's out in Vegas at the D Las Vegas, and he worked in the book, and he does their odds for like their social media and the radio shows or whatever, and he picks the games. He just does it old school, but it'd be interesting to talk to him about how they come up with their stuff.
Yeah, that'd be a really cool segment to talk about odds makers
if they're allowed to. But yeah, I would guess they throw it into a
supercomputer.
supercomputer.
I used to work in sports radio in the past, and we used to have a bookmaker. I used to have odds makers come on the show all the time.
Yeah, no, it's fun. I think it's great. I'd make it a regular. I'd make it a regular thing on any show. On Friday. What are the big games? What do you know?
Definitely.
What is Mel Tucker coming today, and is Steve coming?
Steve will be there, and Mel just called. Coach Tucker just called in.
So, anyways, it was like.
So you'll be all set to go.
Party's going this way, winds are going this way, and then all of a sudden.
And you'll have Steve still there too.
Okay. Just like
a nice little end of last half hour. Real nice.
There you go.
No heavy lifting.
No, not at all. Getting everybody to pitch in there. Oh, see, now, Patrick, I don't think this is true, but they have, they do pick the Super Bowl sometimes with, they do Madden simulations.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that they don't do that for real. There's got to be a lot of, they got to have a lot of inside information, too. Like that movie with, was it McConaughey and Al Pacino?
That was a great movie.
Played like back in the day when you used to have to call on the phone.
Yeah, I loved that movie.
Yeah. And they would sell their picks and stuff.
Oh.
Very cool.
Oh.
Now back to more Paul W. Smith on WJR. Once again substituting, here's Kevin Dietz.
Indiana University has a really good football team, and they showed it Saturday in Spartan Stadium, beating our Spartans 24-0. Here to talk about the game and moving forward is MSU football coach Mel Tucker and our own Steve Courtney. Hey, guys.
All right, Kev. Thank you very much. Hello again, my friends. Yeah, not the result that head coach Mel Tucker, the Spartans, looking for in beautiful East Lansing this past Saturday. As a matter of fact, with the 24-0 win, the Hoosiers claim the old brass platoon for the first time since 2016. We'll talk about it now with a fine coach himself. How are you, sir?
Hey, good morning, Steve. How you doing, buddy?
Everything is well. You know what? We've had this conversation before, and the trend, unfortunately, continues, Coach. Obviously, Indiana, a pretty damn good football team. They didn't need help, but again, turnovers very costly to our Spartans. And what goes along with that, Coach, is field position, putting the defense in an awkward situation. When you take a look, for example, the first Lombardi pick in the first quarter, Indiana sets up shop at midfield. After the Anthony Williams fumble in the first quarter, Indiana sets up shop 1st and 10 at our 16. And it goes on. Just can't have it, sir.
No, the turnovers, not only the time, the field position, but the time of possession is critical. I mean, we're losing at least 9 minutes a game on time possession. Turnovers, they had 17 points off of turnovers. We've given our opponents 52 points in turnovers this season, and then in penalties, we're 10th in the Big Ten in penalties per game. So we have to have the discipline, do our job. We got to take care of the football. We need to win the battle of first downs and time and win the time of possession. And then I really like the way our defense played in the second half. The guys have been they were very physical. They were just relentless to the ball. We stopped the run in the game, and they took the ball away. So we have to play complementary football. We can play defense like we played in the second half and take care of the football and do solid on special teams. We'll have an opportunity to win some games.
I thought Jacob Panashuk, Antoine Simmons, two of the defensive leaders, obviously, Coach, flying around in the second half. And the truth of the matter is, I think offensively, we outgained the Hoosiers in the second half and pitched a shutout. So that was some relentless football there.
Yeah, I mean, guys continue to play hard. We're going to watch the game as an entire football team today, just so we can see how each phase of the game is affecting the other two phases. And like in our first drive, we're efficient. We get a 5-yard run, then we get a 14-yard pass, we get another 4-yard run that we could have got more, and then we throw an interception. And so then the next drive, we miss a block, we blow an assignment, then we fumble. Then we throw another interception in the fourth series. So those are things that don't give you a chance. We continue to play hard on defense. We're getting better in special teams. The offensive line was actually did a solid job up front for us. So we just got to take care of football.
Well, I was interested with your comments with us in the postgame, Coach, as it relates to Rocky Lombardi and Peyton Thorne. Rocky, 3 of 7, a mere 21 yards to go along with those 2 picks. Peyton comes in 10 of 20, 110 yards. He also threw a pick. But when you were asked, sir, about any potential quarterback controversy, you were quite adamant that whoever steps up and has the best week of practice and puts this team in a position to win and take care of the ball will be the quarterback come Maryland. Are you still sticking with that, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go through the week and we're going to see who does the best job, in all aspects of leading the football team offensively, and then we'll go there. It's early in the week, so we got a lot of work to do. But there's nothing set in stone at the quarterback position or any other position on our team.
Interesting scenario as we look forward to the next tilt. That's supposed to be at Maryland come Saturday, Coach. Obviously, the Terrapins canceled their tilt with the Buckeyes due to COVID. We don't know if this game is going to go off based on Big Ten COVID protocols of 21 days. Have you heard anything about the potential for this game going off?
No, just what I've been told, and I've been getting updates. What I've been told is that they intend to play, and so we're preparing to play. We feel like we need to play. We want to play. We need to go out there and get better. We need to continue to develop our team and find out who can do what and build and continue to build on an identity of playing hard, playing good defense, taking care of the football. Our medical team has done an outstanding job. Sally and Dr. Covan just have remained diligent in our behavior to keep us safe, following the protocols and doing those things. And we're going to continue to do those things so we can give ourselves a chance to continue to practice and continue to play. So hopefully hopefully things will work out and we'll be able to play this weekend.
We were talking about that in the press box, Coach, on Saturday, how well things have been going in East Lansing as it relates to COVID. We know nationally the numbers are spiking. Don't need to go over that. And at the end of the day, to keep these athletes, the staff, everybody safe, that's no easy task these days, Coach. I know that.
No, it's not. But what are you willing to do to get what you want, and what are you willing to give up as well? And so it's been behavior modification. We talk about it each and every day with our players. We show them examples of other games being canceled and things like that. We even had a curfew on our guys on Thursday last week going into the game where they zoomed in with their coaches. At 10 o'clock, and then we were also, we're at the hotel. So our guys understand that in order for us to continue to practice and continue to play, we have to have a very simple life here, and it's basically they got school, they got practice, right, and rest and recovery, and that's about it. And that's the same thing for the coaches. We come here to the office, we prepare, we coach, we meet, we do those things. We go home, direct to home, and we come back, and that's pretty much how we how we operate. That's gives us the best chance.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for your time. Stick to the fight, sir, and we will chat again very, very soon.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to continue with our process and continue to work to get better. Thank you so much, Steve. Take care. Have a good week.
You bet. Yeah, you do the same, sir. Head coach Mel Tucker spending some time with us here. Spartans due to play at Maryland come Saturday. We'll keep you posted right here on Spartan Radio. Kev?
All right. Thanks, Steve Courtney. Thanks, Mel Tucker, MSU head football coach. Go green, go white. The Frank Beckman Show is next. Right now, we're going to check traffic with Dana Clark.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID.
All right, Kev.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's when the email comes out, will you get the email from Fox News? Let's load up on that and then see what we have left.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. Off to work Frank Beckman now.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
You have so much fun. Spend a little on gifts from eBay that sale.